This scheduled still. Oh, now we're live.
We
All right.
are live.
We are officially live, so the people can start coming in. I wonder, can we see, does it say how many people are live? I guess we got to pull up the YouTube maybe too.
It would behoove us to have multiple screens, but unfortunately I'm damned.
No, that's exactly it. So if you, Chris, you got to pop on. Cullen, you got to pop on the YouTube live. All right.
Yeah, guys. Welcome to the Grunge Bible Podcast, episode 200. Chris will be with us in just a second.
Chris, he said he's still at the restaurant. So, Chris, see if you can hide your non-face profile.
Hide your damn non-face. Man.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. There's Schlitzky. Okay, I think we officially have a crowd with 3, according to the saying. Guys, we're really sorry that so Chris had a dinner party. It was very important that he go there. Italian restaurant is going out of business, I believe, or they're at least shutting down. I think maybe they just sold it, but it was very important that he be there with all of his buddies. And you know how Italian dinners go; they always go a little bit later than they're supposed to. So
a little bit later, a little bit longer.
Yeah, we maybe could have set it up a little bit different, but hey, that wouldn't be Grunge Bible if we had it all figured out. So we're just happy that we're here. We got Drew. Drew has a beautiful setting set up. Yeah, a few extra monitors would help. I got my guys back here waiting. Check this out, Drew.
Yeah. Look at that.
So my little brother is a potter, and he made gnomes for all the brothers. He has a big gnome, but he made one for each of us, and they are sick. So he's gonna be chilling here right next to the captain.
Love it.
Captain's always here.
Do you know what's the mythology of a gnome? I don't even know. Or no, like I know, garden gnome, but nobody knows what that is. Do you know what it is? Does he know what it is?
Yeah, I'm blanking right now. Honestly, I feel like it's just folklore, right? Folk. Just
little people.
Brazil is here. Pretty basic. Thank you, Brazil. Cullen, that's Eddie Vedder, got me through my second divorce. Plush Mike, you don't know him, homie. Oh, we know him. This is great. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of the Patreon people hopefully popping on, and we will. So we do have a way for people to come into the lobby and be on screen with us. So we're going to be doing that. Obviously, when Chris gets in, we'll be a little bit more. Because he's the host, so he's the one who is gonna allow us to have the stage as they say on StreamYard, which would mean we can share a screen share and whatnot. But he has to,
grant that access, sort of thing. Yeah. No worries, dude. Well, Ethan, I mean, just catch everybody up. It's been a week. How you doing? What's going on? What's new?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm just hanging in there, right? I actually had a really good week. I was able to drove home. I drove back from Pennsylvania to Alabama, and it is a 13-hour drive. Okay. And I was going from Eastern time zone to Central. So I gained an hour, which is really good. I left at about 6:30. I had like an hour of traffic, and I made 3 stops for gas. I got food and coffee at my first stop at Wawa last because I have to get some food at Wawa. But I only got out of the car to fill up my tank and go to the bathroom 3 times for the entire 15 hours. Basically did 5-hour shifts, 3 shifts, and I was home. It was a total time of 15 hours, which isn't completely accurate because I stopped when I was home to get some food for my night, and I kind of walked around. It's about 14 and a half hours in the chair straight, channeled my inner truck driver, and we got it done.
Yeah. No, it's a crazy feeling, huh? But it feels good afterwards.
Honestly, like going back in time, right? Getting that hour back is so much better than the other direction.
Right? I love time traveling backwards. Yes.
Yeah. Time traveling backwards is good.
Yeah. East to west is incredible. Yeah. 100%.
So that was a good start on that was Tuesday, and then I was able to work, and I got some really good training in. I kind of got my bearings. It feels so good to be back. I was back at the homestead for about um, a month, and that's a
Mhm.
long time to kind of be doing things differently and then not on your own time. So it was great, but I'm happy to be back.
What was your favorite, well, like, I'm sure there was a lot of favorites. What was a notable highlight the past month being back at the homestead?
Let's see, notable highlight. I mean, my nieces. My brother has two daughters that
Mhm.
I get to spend time with, and the one turned 1 and one turned 3 in the fall. So that was spectacular. It snowed. It snowed like December 23rd. So it was when I left Alabama. It was probably like 65 degrees at one point. It did get cold. It snowed here as that big cold front went through, but it was um, yeah, it was cold while I was home. And I had a conversation with Andy Engelman. You know him. I worked with him for 2 days, obviously. You know him because he played with us, played some music.
Yeah.
And we talked about the winter a little bit. And, you don't have a winter in California. Obviously not. Yeah, you have the opposite of a winter right now.
Yeah. We got a
And
fire.
yeah, fires. So it's like the Doors. And yeah,
Yeah.
what I was going to say is the winter is so important, right? Because I mean, the time, like the days of the sunlight gets, you know, I think the solstice was the 21st or something. It was the shortest day of the year.
Mhm.
Cold, short, not a lot of sun, and it's like it's like circadian rhythm. I mean, it like forces the winter forces you to rest and to do things to be inside to like reset up, recoup, and I
Hibernate.
appreciate
Hibernate.
hibernate exactly. I appreciate that a lot. And we were just talking about like the different activities you do in the winter. I mean, just how you like sitting by a fire, sitting in a room with just the Christmas lights on, nothing else. Like if you're lucky, there'll be snow falling down. Like it is really it's a special opportunity to kind of like slow down in the winter. And I think people
Mhm.
like hate the winter and they don't like the cold. They'd rather be in the warm, but like then your life, it doesn't break it up, right? You go through 12 months, one season, or maybe like, 2 seasons, kind of like a little hotter than really hot. But like the breaking it up and having it totally different is a blessing. And I like the going home and having that was, I think, really important. And
Mhm.
like I said, it just, people, and Andy made another good point. It's like, the people think that the trees are dying and they've died, but really what they're doing during the winter is they're taking the nutrients, and there's a lot of sun during the winter, right? And that's what photosynthesis, like it's growing the tree, it's nurturing the tree to
Yeah.
be able to, it starts the next cycle of growth. And
Mhm.
that's like where we're in right now. Like things are going to start to bud. They're already starting to bud on trees, and like we're coming out of the darkness, and like that's what spring is, but like, it all starts in the winter.
Yeah. No, and one of the ways, like, I've thought about it sometimes when I've been alone is like it kind of connects you back to all of our posterity in the sense of, all of the people, the first colonialists,
Mm.
everybody in the winter was inside by the fire, talking to their, family, doing the same thing that we do
Yeah.
currently, making some stew, whatever. And it kind of, it reminds you, it's like the sun's a beautiful thing, and it can do wonders for the brain and your psychology. But the winter, like you said, and sometimes the lack of the sun, sometimes the moon can do a little bit of good as well, just kind of make you think and connect you,
Right.
forces you to be around a little bonfire and just connect and stuff. Yeah, it's incredible. It's funny you say that. I watched a movie um about, so up in Alaska in the wintertime they've got like 30 days of like darkness. It's like no
Yeah.
sun.
Yeah.
Just imagine that, dude. And like a lot of people leave,
Yeah,
like,
dude. I was in
and
Finland. I was in Finland for a train
right,
there twice, and
yeah,
it was sunny from like maybe 9 a.m. to 3, right? So it was
right.
like 6 hours.
Yeah.
or less. Sometimes it's less, but it was like we were in the southern part, but the more north you go and stuff, it gets more extreme.
Right. Yeah. And this movie was set like the northernmost town in Alaska, and most people would fly south in Alaska. But just crazy to think that, like, our world is so vast and so beautiful and so diverse that there are just places on the planet at certain times where there's just no sunlight. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the opposite time of the year, there is no darkness.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the hard. That's like, I think that would be harder.
Yeah, for me that would be harder. Absolutely, probably for most people too. But
to just like, oh man, it would be talk about not being able to turn the off switch on. Oh, turn the switch off.
Yeah. let me ask you this real quick before we get back to your time home. But we're both at heart musicians. It's how we connected. That's in our DNA. Speaking for myself, like darkness and like minimal light, but like light that's sexy and like smart and vibey is like what I'm drawn to. I imagine you are the same way. I know you're the same way. I grew up with you. Yeah. What is it about like the musician spirit that is drawn to that is like it would prefer 30 days of night to 30 days of light? Like, what is that?
That's a good observation. I think that there's something I saw on a shirt. It was actually it was from Blake from Workaholics. He had a Killer Acid shirt. I believe I got you one, and I got myself one. I definitely did gift you one. Maybe you never wear it, but
you got me a Mac from It's Always Sunny shirt. I know that.
I know I got you this one, but it says the brain comes alive at night. And it was like a Killer Acid. And, people do drugs at night, I guess, and people like them during the day. But that sentiment of the brain comes alive at night, there's something like very creative when it's dark that I don't know why. There's something that your brain, but like, yeah, you put on the mood and like, I mean, literally mood lighting and, setting the mood is important for a lot of things. But for some reason at night, I mean, a lot of artists do a lot of work at night, obviously. And that's where they do all their best writing, or, the late night. It's something because people are asleep. And I don't know. It's something cool.
Yeah.
The mind comes alive at night, though. That's all I know.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like a control thing where, like, breaking it down, where like when you have darkness, you can control what lights you introduce into your life, and you can control what
They
colors.
stand out.
Yeah, and what colors are going to invoke one feeling, another color is going to invoke another feeling. Whereas if you have lightness, the star in the sky is controlling the narrative, right? So it's like you have a little bit less input into the illumination of the whole story you're trying to tell in your life, something like that.
Yeah. I definitely, if you have a candle lit during the day, it's not going to do much, but it has a big importance when all the lights are out. I mean, it cuts through the dark. That's the most beautiful thing about light is if it's completely dark, the smallest light will light up a large amount of space and reflect off of all of it. If there really is nothing else interfering with it.
Yeah.
It's like light pollution. When there's light pollution, the stars can't get through, and, you don't, but it's completely dark. It shines differently. Like, yeah, fire, a campfire, during the day, it's not going to do anything, but a campfire at night, you'll be able to find your way home.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I love thinking about stuff like that, lightness and darkness, but that's good.
Yeah,
shit.
I think it's time. I was waiting for Chris, but so I'm rocking a big 2x4. You got a glass of wine. I also have some Miller High Lifes over there. I really wanted to wait for Chris, but I know he had a few drinks at dinner. I got my koozie somewhere here, but oh yeah. Check this out. If you guys are out on the live stream right now and you're waiting to crack a beer, maybe you've already been drinking. I mean, it's late. It changes different times. And we're going to get the comments when Chris gets back on. We can link the comments to the StreamYard, which would be pretty cool. But I wanted to crack it with Chris, but I can't, so the show must go on. So here's the 200th episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast. Thank you all for joining us.
Man.
This is really special. We're going to go 200 minutes. We're 15 minutes in. Oh, yeah.
Cheers,
should have did it by the mic. But yes, cheers to everybody out there.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, beers, Mountaineers.
Thank you so much. 200, man. 200. 200.
Oh man, that tastes like I'm a senior in high school, just finished a show at Chaplin's, and I get back and all I have is a group of my homies ready to drink beer.
God damn.
Can you believe it? Man.
Boom. Cheers, dude. 200 weeks, a little bit more, but 200 weeks. That's wild.
Cheers. Doug Endy's on. Cheers. He's been to a lot of our shows. We got films on thing. What's good with it, y'all? This is exactly what's good. Plush Mike, this one goes out to you. We're gonna bring you guys in. And I told, so we have a special guest coming on, and I told him we'd start at 11, and we didn't. And if you had to guess whose fault it would be for not starting on time, 100 out of 100 times it's my fault versus Chris. Like if you put me and him, and you can even throw you in there, like the fact that Chris is the one who made us late is just, I can't even be mad at him because I'm not allowed. There's just, I do this all the time. This is something that I would do. So like, he's given me grace plenty of times, been patient. Like I can't be mad at him, which is funny. So like, it's just, I did not expect it, but it's okay. He's coming. Oh. Zach Dow, he said, "Where is Chris?" He's coming. He said they got the check and he's 7 minutes away from home. That was a while back ago. So yeah,
it's kind of like the thing where like, they always say expect the unexpected. It's like this thing where, you don't expect like your, dish, you don't expect like your dishwasher to like break when it breaks, right? You don't expect your fridge to break when it breaks.
Your brakes to go out.
But you should expect it, right? So it's like people who complain like, "Oh, dude, I don't have like, $500 to fucking fix my dish." What you should expect it, right? So we shouldn't expect Chris to be late, but we should expect it because one day out of 200 episodes, 200 weeks, it was going to happen.
This is exactly. It's funny. Yeah, my brakes went out like a month ago. They didn't go out, but I had to get them fixed.
Expect it.
I went in there and I was like, I can't believe it. Like it always happens at the worst time. And they're like, well, it's at 70,000 miles. That's when you need to get your brakes done, or your rotors. That is like every 50,000. Or it was like the exact time mark that is typical. And I was like, oh, all right. I guess you're right, Mr. Mechanic. Yeah. Cullen gave us the moon emoji. Really weird moon emoji on YouTube. On the comments on YouTube. He's probably on his phone, which is cool.
No, but
some things said we're the goats. That's cool. I'm glad that you're here, Drew. I'm glad that you're with us. This is cool.
Yeah, this is amazing. 200 weeks, man. And it's so cool to just to circle back real quick. It's so cool that you got some nieces that were brightening your winter darkness, so to speak. That's got to be super fruitful, and both Quins, obviously. So good on them. Glad everything's going well there.
Oh yeah, it's really special.
Yeah,
very cool. We got another one coming. So I wonder if Chris, did he just move the screen around? I wonder if
I saw something move. I was trying to play a damn song. But
oh yeah, did you?
Also, Chris!
Holy cow!
We can't hear you yet.
Yep, get rid of the fake Chris.
No, we still can't hear you. Hold on. He's connecting. You're muted.
Our first guest is also ready to come in, so we're gonna have to it's getting late on the East Coast. So
Live, can you hear me?
oh,
We are
man.
live. It is
We're
Friday
back.
night.
So sorry, I heard you disparaging me out of the 200 times.
Yes.
What do you have to say for yourself,
But
Chris?
we're here now. You know what?
No appeal on the docket.
No, just my own sins.
Yeah.
Dude, he looks sweaty. Are you ready to go 200?
No, I've
minutes?
just been sitting, I've been sitting in an Italian restaurant for the last 5 hours.
Once we get
And-
rolling, you can definitely you can change it to something more comfortable. Unless you want to keep it. I feel like I gotta get my suit on.
Yeah, I was like,
Dude, and I have some special news. We're officially live on Instagram as well. Now,
Yes. Now
so-
it's like now it's really official.
yeah, now it's happening. So
Now we can start bringing people over.
play our song just for shits. Come on. Play our
what
song.
song are you discussing?
Our intro.
The damn theme song.
How am I supposed to get that? How are you guys?
Oh, dude, good. How are you?
We're doing good.
I'm
We just
good.
talked about
So nice little Easter egg here. We've been rolling for about 20 minutes. That was the first 20 minutes in the entirety of the Grunge Bible Podcast history that I was not involved. So,
There you go.
I had to, every so often we'd be recording and trying to jostle the schedules and everything. And Ethan's like, oh, you could take a week off and, me and Drew can do something. I was like, oh, we'll find a way to make it work. But figures the first time that we do a live episode that we had a lot of lead into was the one time that I'm late.
I know. I can't believe it.
What are you gonna do?
Right. What are
Anyway,
you
I
gonna do?
just emailed it to you. Go ahead and see if it'll play.
See if Chris can figure it out. I saved it and I was trying to share the file, but I couldn't. It has to be a window to use the audio, as we found out yesterday or something. Chris is here. Zach Dow,
Yeah.
Dow. They're
Here,
pumped. They're
I
pumped.
made
You're
it
here,
back.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Here
How was
live for
the-
episode 200.
How was the Italian dinner?
The Italian dinner was absolutely dandy. Here we go. It was good, dude. It's sad though, this restaurant here. Oh, here we go. We're gonna add some people to the stage. Ethan, what are you sharing right here?
Background. Not an ad. Hold on.
Excellent.
Oh, God.
This is how it works. We're gonna get through the ad.
And as it stands, actually, we have our first guest is waiting in the wings.
Let's do it. Is it? Yeah. There we go.
The man.
Yeah, you bet.
Bring him
Better
in.
believe it.
Nobody gives a fuck where you went to dinner. Nobody cares. No one
Tell me how you
cares.
really feel, Eric Lederman.
No one
Thank you,
cares.
Eric. Produce him.
Please.
First of all,
Read me
you
the
tell your
riot act.
public, 200 episodes, and then you're going out. Look what you're wearing.
I was out to
This
dinner.
is not. These are not the young minds and grunge loving, younger generation that I've shaped. Out to dinner. It's 11:36.
He started at 6, Eric.
Eric,
He
let me
started at
explain.
6.
Let me understand. So, our dinner reservation was at 6:30 p.m. and we just finished at about 11:20 p.m.
Eric,
Yes, I don't give a shit. No. Tell me more about how long the dinner was.
Eric,
I
what
just had to
sauce did we
defend
get? What'd you
myself
have?
briefly.
Into
Water
the
under
dinner
the-
again, bros. We're back.
Same
Come on,
old
Chris.
bros.
Into the dinner
Look at
again.
Chris is
Same
pounding
old
up
dish
here.
it
He's like,
was.
Eric, I'm
Excellent.
Drew. Nice to formally meet you, man. How are you?
Drew, how
Oh,
are
look
ya?
at you.
Oh, look at
By the way, I
that.
just want to tell all the people who are watching, 7, that
Oh my
I
God.
bought that mug.
Using his own legal tender, because one thing, Grunge Bible doesn't give out freebies, evidently. So yeah,
no, if-
everybody
if
has
you-
to pay their way.
If you
That's
want to
right.
support your friend's business, you pay full
I
price.
agree.
Some,
I agree.
some business it is.
My learning curve when I love both these guys and their page, and when I found out how young they were, I reached out and I was like, I don't know if I asked them. I think I asked them like, "Oh, you guys are doing a podcast? I love to be on because I love the page." I was surprised how young they were, but I was also like, I think, and I'm like, oh, they have merch, and every time on Seth, if a guest comes on, whoever they are, there's like a gift bag waiting
They
for
get
them,
swag.
a swag bag. And so I'm just like, oh, they have swag. I'm like, oh yeah. I remember telling them like everyone who's on the show should get like a mug and a t-shirt. And then these guys are like, I have like a track meet, but like rent's like this month. And like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'll buy a mug right now. I'm sorry. Like I'm such a like old rich asshole. And I'm like,
Mr.
oh my God, I'm that
NYC
guy
here.
now. So I apologize. I bought a mug.
Brooklyn's
you don't need to
finest.
apologize. We apologize that we can't offer out swag packets for everybody that comes on. It would be great. Instead,
Guys,
we
there's
just
no
ask.
money in music. There's no money in anything anymore.
Right.
It's fine.
But this is a great opportunity to interject here.
Yes.
If everybody out there listening wants to make it possible for us to give free swag to people that we have on, in the show notes, you can go ahead and join our Patreon and give us $10 a month that we could perhaps use to give Eric Lederman and the likes of him, other esteemed gentlemen. We can give them a lovely swag bag when they come on. But, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, first of all, we have to convince people to come on, which, Eric, I'm surprised, so we get a bunch of weird reactions when people find out that we're like in our late 20s or Ethan just cracked 30. And sometimes people hit us with like a bunch of disdain, like, oh, you guys are a bunch of posers. You weren't there. So thank you for not being that way with us.
No, your guys' content spoke for itself, and the granular detail and the deep dive. I would argue that you guys know more about more bands from the era than I do by a mile, because what happens is when you become obsessed with something generationally and you weren't there to experience it, it's like people like who are like, oh, I'm a hippie, and I'm like, it's 1997 and we're like juniors in college. I'm like, no, you're not. That's over. And it's like, no, but you don't understand, like that they missed out. So all they can do is take on the persona and deep dive it. And we didn't have the internet in the 90s. You guys, like, you lived your lives and you were normal, and then you just did the research. So many people are like, oh, like I'm gonna aesthetically be this and I'm gonna subscribe. You guys walk the walk and talk the talk, and then you made a dumb page that was anything but dumb, and you deep dived it. And that is the ultimate respect from a gross hesher like me who's encroaching 50 like a goddamn freight train. So,
wow.
Cheers to you guys, and cheers to 200 episodes. What an accomplishment. It's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. It's very that's very flattering to hear. I mean, it really is. It's fun having obviously support from say random people on the internet, and you were a random person once to us, but
that's right.
At the same time, like having Chris Cafaro is going to come on, but he's doing an expo, and he may still come on, but there's a few people that
Chris is like, what time do you want me on? You're like, this time. And then he's like, okay, now it's like, no, Chris is at dinner. It's like,
we're only on the third course. Put some respect on my name.
Well, I was like, Drew's like, you should text Eric. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, he's going to nail us because this is producing 101. Like start when you say.
Well, no, here's the thing. He's not going to nail us. He's nailing me because I'm the culprit here.
I think I was genuinely just taken aback. I was like, what do you mean you're doing?
I'm taken aback too. And like Ethan and Drew can definitely speak to this more, but like I am a complete and utter control freak when it comes to this shit. So like the amount of times that like I've motherfucked Ethan because I'm like, Ethan, you're 3 minutes late. We said we were going to record at this time. And what do you mean you're just finishing a shower? Like, and here I am like, oh, sorry guys, I'm eating.
I know on this big night. All right, so boys,
his face with calamari.
Yeah, I texted Eric and I said, "Hey, Chris is running a little late." And he's like, "What time did you tell everybody you were starting?" And I just said, "I know this is not Chris at all. I really don't understand."
I went and looked on the page. I literally called my buddy in
these guys
Santa Barbara, and I go, "I'm waiting to be on the podcast." And he goes, "It's 11:15 your time," and I go, "I know these fucking young people are disgusting."
It's bad. We were just trying to channel. So my spin zone for this is I was just trying to channel the glory days of like, when GNR, like back in the day, like before they went off the rails, it's like, oh yeah, like the headliner, like they're coming on at 10 and they wouldn't go on until 11:45. And then like Axl
11:45. Dude, Guns N' Roses would keep people waiting for like 3 hours. That's why that, remember, the big riot that happened, I think it was Canada, where James Hetfield got burned by pyro. They opened. I mean, it was a co-headline tour, but James Hetfield gets burned by pyro. Metallica cuts their set short, and then Guns N' Roses comes on, I think like at least 2, maybe like almost 2.5 hours later. And then Axl gets pissed about something and they cut their show after like 20 minutes and the fucking fans destroyed the place.
Wow.
They destroyed the place. Like that was a huge deal. I think that was like 92, 93 maybe. It was insane. And I remember like I didn't go to that show. I saw Metallica Black Album when they were headlining. But how insane is that? Like, can you imagine? Like people, it's not like, oh, the opener. It was like Metallica and Guns. It was like a fucking true Clash of the Titans doubleheader.
Yeah.
2 headliners. And like they like ripped out the seats. Like it's a bummer there weren't phones then. Because you would have seen some real footage of people really losing their mind, which rarely now goes without someone witnessing it. But man, we missed some good shit. That would have been awesome.
3 hours is crazy, though. I mean,
it's crazy.
It's
maniacal work. Yeah,
it's crazy. I think about all the guests we have at late night and the amount of people, like rare, like sometimes, like, you know, we have a guest who works at SNL, like they get caught in a rehearsal or there's traffic with someone. Rare, like sometimes we have to flip the second and first guest, but like that kind of late, like hours late. And then when you're dealing with a living, pulsing, breathing mass of thousands of people who are all drinking and who like dumb music, oh boy.
It's honestly shocking that it went off the rails. I can't believe everybody wasn't more reasonable about it, right?
I know they should have like talked to each other and like just like, hey man.
Yeah, they could have like every section could have like grouped up and maybe done some like icebreakers or something, you know, like
a lot of trust falls happening on.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of 2 truths and a lie.
So what are we doing? What is going on? What do you guys want to talk about tonight? Like how many people are watching, by the way? Can you tell at this point? 20?
Yeah, we've got 16 over on YouTube and we've got about 55 on Instagram right now. But Instagram, you know, people have the attention spans of walnuts, so like they'll pop in for a little bit. And
we need to do is get people.
I love walnuts, by the way.
Yeah, I pinned the comment. I was like, you got to come over to YouTube for the.
So the nice part about this is, we are going to release this on Monday for everybody, and so it will be published.
The anticipation must be insane.
Yeah. So if you aren't able to stick the whole time on YouTube, which I'd be, if somebody does that, that's
shit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick the whole time.
Well, you already, yeah, you can.
Well, I don't have an excuse because I fucked off for the first 25 minutes.
So Eric, Drew, are you the producer?
Yeah, I'm the producer engineer.
Drag him, Eric.
I can't. I don't. I just wondering, like.
So why? Drew was, I guess you guys have never met. Drew was my high school friend. We met in like 2nd grade, and he was the guitarist in my band all through high school. And we went to the same college for a year. He went to Pitt with Chris and I. He met Chris, and then we both moved away, and he finished out at Pitt. But yeah, he's an excellent guitarist. He moved to California to pursue engineering. Worked at Red Star, and what was the other one?
Beechwood. It's a small studio. Yeah.
And then he's edited every podcast, I think.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, great. Well,
that's why it sucks.
No, true. I mean, I think you're a great editor, but clearly you fucked up the producing by letting Chris stay at a restaurant an hour past the time he was supposed to be on. But okay, we'll get there.
Eric, well, we're lucky because I wasn't even thinking tonight.
Eric, as you know, the talent will do what they want sometimes.
Right? It's true across the board.
The talent.
Give us a story. Give us a story of you don't need to use names, but a talent that was either late or late. I guess something. Like, what do you guys do?
No. But I will tell you a story about. I like my job. I'm not here to like tell 16
your guys aren't listening. No way.
That's also true. But I will tell you
nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening. But I'll tell you I will tell you when I went. I'll tell you a more grunge related story. So I'll try to make
just change it. Yeah,
no problem. I didn't need Drew to like subtly text me and be like, Drew, you're like, I don't need. Don't even. I'm trying to produce me through your telepathy. All right, so long story sort of boring. I went to college in Iowa, University of Iowa, and the place that we would go for all our shows was 5 Seasons Center.
Wait, you went to the University of Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, I went to Iowa State.
Oh, you're a Cyclone?
Yeah, and you're a Hawkeye, so I don't know if this relationship can continue.
Okay. Anyway, so
We go back to the restaurant.
So we don't believe me. It's closed. You're banging on the door. Fucking The Graduate.
No, it did close. Yeah, apparently.
So yeah, it was their last night of business tonight here. Anyway, so 5 Seasons Center in Dubuque. You know, head east, like right up, sort of like Quad Cities, that area. We went to go see Seven Dust. I followed Seven Dust everywhere in college. I thought they were great, and I still adore the band, and I just love them, and I think they're actually they're going out, and they have like big plans for the next few years. I think they're going to get more visible and sort of ride the resurgence of a lot of underrated 90s hard rock bands that got sort of lumped in new metal and fluke, but all of a sudden have 30-year careers, which a lot of people don't respect. Like, and have always been making money and same lineup. But long story short, we went to see Seven Dust. Seven Dust opened their direct support. They killed it. And then the headliner was Monster Magnet. And Monster Magnet is one of those bands, like it's like sort of like Urge Overkill in my mind, where like they were pushed really heavily, even if they could play, whatever, but they were pushed by labels, and the business is like the next band that you really need to see. And they're hot, after all the big grunge bands had already, established themselves, like, the signing of all these bands like multiple labels. Monster Magnet is one of those bands. So I'm like, after Seven Dust, like I was like 3 drinks in, I was like, smoking. I was just like, Seven Dust rules, like, high five. And it was a great, and it's like, well, should we stay for Monster Magnet? It's like, what are we going to do? Like, we're going to leave. It's like, we'll see them. Like, they have this song Space Lord. It's cool. We'll see what it's like. So the band comes out and it's just instrumental, and it's like kind of chill. And I'm like, this is fine. Like, it gives me a chance to like go to the bar and like get another beer and start to think about who's going to drive. And I'm like, and it's a little spacey. And then I'm like, it's been 10 minutes. And that guy, I forget who the vocalist is, Davey song is not coming out. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, is this like they better bring out fucking like, McCartney. Like, this is going to be who is coming out. So then like 15 minutes in, and like the jam sort of peters out. I'm like, hell of an intro, guys. Like, what the fuck is going on? So then they get on the mic and they're like, hey, Dave, I think his name was Dave. It's like, Dave's going to be out in a minute. He just had just needs a second. He'll be right with you guys. And everyone's like sort of starting to murmuring, like a couple of boos are happening. So I go like to the merch with a beer, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And the merch is right next to the backstage, which I didn't know. And it's apparently like the Monster Magnet camp with like someone from the venue, like the promoter, I think, screaming. And it's like, you tell that fucking guy to get on stage now. And it's like, he cannot get on stage. He is not physically able to get on stage. And I overheard more, and it was kind of garbled. And I'm just like, oh man. So I came back and told my friends, like, oh yeah, this guy's not getting on stage. Like, yeah, sure. I'm like, no, I heard him. And then eventually the bass player, one of the guitar players goes, sorry, it's like, Davey can't handle his ecstasy. Fuck you guys. Good night. And they walked off. Jeez. And the place like lit up, and people were throwing drinks, and it was getting crazy. And they never took the stage. The lights came on, like that was the end of it. And it was like, whenever I was in college.
Never took the stage.
Never took this. I mean, like the vocals, I mean, they did like an instrumental jam, but like people were there to see Monster Magnet because they were so pushed by like, the music media. And story of Seven Dust, like coming in, blowing the roof off the place. And then the story of the night is not how great they were, but how Monster Magnet, how Davey couldn't handle his ecstasy and fucking was like having like an OD or a trip out or something terrible in the back. Again. And I was like, oh, wow. And so that's the late story. As far as I see it, that's appropriate for the Grunge Bible 200th anniversary fucking blowout Italian dinners.
That's right. I mean, so when were they big, Monster Magnet? Were they an 80s band then?
No. I think it's a new. I don't know their history because I wasn't invested enough in them, but I think this is like 90. This is probably like 97. Okay. They were at the height of their powers. The song was called Space Lord. which was like the big single. It was like it was like, of course, like a space themed video. But check it out. I mean,
I'll do it right now.
yeah, Space Lord is look at that. Ugh. By the way, what's going on in the background? Is it just ads?
That was a little bit.
There he is. That's Dave. There he is.
So we can actually, I guess we can play the audio too.
Oh yeah, some guy just put a comment about how great Seven Dust is. I will tell everyone here is like,
Yeah.
Seven Dust rips, amazing album collection. Go back and start from the beginning. Incredible live band, incredible songs. Great guys. Great band.
Can you guys hear the audio?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay.
No, it's enough from me.
Is it too loud? I could bring it down.
No.
I'm loving the facial hair there from Man Who Couldn't Take the Stage.
The band looks like it's like half Smash Mouth and then like some old Rockeshers.
Chris, can you move our heads to the left or the right?
Yeah, let me see. I mean, this is normally the producer's job, but
Guys, leave Drew alone. He's had a long night trying to get you out of the restaurant.
I know.
He's banging on his glass. They're like, we're closed. It's like, my client's in there. Doc McGee.
He's going on stage in 10
He's
minutes.
got to be
No
on
more
stage.
garlic bread.
Get him out of that button down.
Like, please, for the love of God, put the veal down.
Put it down, dude. Here, it's gonna kick in here. 1, 2, Vegas, go.
Oh yeah.
Vegas, go.
It rips.
Yeah.
It's a very confused image. He brings it back down again. I don't understand the band.
So we do want to have you on to sometime talk 80s rock and roll and take us to school. And I wanted to, I pulled up some, maybe I could pull it up. It's quite big. There's a ton of bands, but you would rank them and tier them for the 80s bands. But there's actually a lot of bands that I don't know much about, so I don't know if I want to.
Great. By the way, do you see the Twiggy Ramirez cameo in this video? There he is, from bass player for Manson.
This is unbelievable.
I left my throne a million miles away.
That might be a great episode. This Lederman's top 25 ranked 80s bands.
No problem.
He's gonna host.
No problem. Oh yeah, Monster Man. Yeah, it is early stoner rock, but like the tones are stoner rock and stuff. But it's
a pretty sweet video. I like it. Like I love this type of stuff. Like they're like, let's just get out in front of the Las Vegas Strip. It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, but see, you know what I'm saying? That there was a lot of money behind this band. Like this is a big video.
Yeah.
Big video, big the guitar, that other guitar player is cool. Like again, they can play. There's some great songs. They have a couple of records. And the guy who's talking about stoner rock, I mean,
it's like Anthony Kiedis and like mixed with Cornell or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to think I was thinking about who he looks like. Yeah, it's got the Cornell like goatee vibes, but like also like the look of the band is all over the place. Like
yeah. Eric,
like they just weren't cohesive. Like it's very 90s.
What's a video like this, Eric, cost today?
Zero, because no one's going to put any. Who has this money to break a band? Forget it. I mean, the budget for this video put this band in debt as soon as they wrapped. Who knew if they knew that happened? But I mean, this is real money. I mean, look, it's multiple locations. They got hero shots. They have cast. They're shooting in like all these different locations this is crazy.
Love a good hero shot. I mean, that just kind of speaks to like, and I'm sure you would have a better recollection of it, obviously, but just like the money that was in rock music at the time, because it was the most popular thing in the world. And, the amount of talent scouting that was going for bands like that. And, seems like back then, like labels were ready and willing to just throw a
Absolutely.
bunch of money at these bands and just see what stuck. It's like that old trope of like after like the grunge bands got big, it's like, you know, any group of 3 or 4 guys wearing flannels and long hair, like they were going to get a record contract.
Yeah, and it's a shame because a lot of bands who got signed, they could play, but it was just like, I mean, the other thing we should talk about too is Institute, which is Gavin Rossdale's. It's been brought up a couple times the last few days. Yeah, this song rips.
Waffle.
Yeah, it's just the tones are killer, and the performance in the video by the band is like they're not hamming it up for the video. Every show, I've seen them for decades. Just check these tones.
A good volume, so turn it up. Oh
And
yeah.
Morgan sings on drums, those backups. Atlanta band, and they did not come up with Mastodon. Interesting. They don't really know each other.
Wow.
And John got a killer voice.
Yeah, this is really solid.
But that's the thing, like, you know, you see like frosted hair and like guys jumping around, and I think a lot of people. I mean, I saw Morgan a couple of months ago, and they came to it's the theater in Times Square here.
They're still ripping.
Say again.
They're still playing.
Oh yeah, they were just here a few months ago. They just did. Funny enough, they just opened up for was it Creed or Tremonti in Vegas on New Year's. Same management as Tremonti and Creed. Seven Dust. That guy's
Oh,
great.
man.
I do really like this.
One of my
So
biggest
I've never
guitarist
really. Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
influences. Mark Tremonti is one of my favorite guitar players. Big influence for me when I was
Great
playing with
player.
Ethan.
It's funny. So, like a couple of minutes ago, Eric, you were lauding like our ability to kind of deep dive on stuff and really get into, you know, these different rabbit holes that exist from music and from the '90s and beyond. It's kind of funny because like I do a lot of the posting on the page, and like inevitably there comes times where like I'll post bands and songs that like I've never heard before, but I'm just like, this might play. And I posted a live performance of Waffle from Seven Dust. They played it live on Late Night with Conan, maybe in '99 or 2000 or 2001 or something like that. And like I'd never heard it before, but I was like, oh, like this is cool. Like I dig this, and I posted it without really knowing anything about it. And like the response that it got from people that followed our page that either like were there at the time and loved this band, or like they're like, I'd never heard this before, but this rips. So like it's still like kind of speaking to people, you know, today.
It's a very accurate assessment, and I think Seven Dust is one of those bands that, and I'm sure they would agree with me, I think that their management let them down. They were originally managed in the beginning by JJ French, who was the guitar player from Twisted Sister. And JJ French, I don't know him or anything like that, but he apparently like really mismanaged them. And I don't know if they sued them, but like they had like real issues with him. And this was a band, I think Seven Dust did something insane, like 270 shows their first year, like their first record.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like insane. Like when I talk to more, this is a great, I mean, these are the bands that deep dive. Like the 80s stuff is interesting. The 90s bands who like came post grunge, like 96, like right when I graduated from high school, like 96, 97 started like kicking off. There was some great stuff then and great players. 80s got a lot of shit because people couldn't play, right? And it was like, oh, they can't really play. And there was a lot of studio musicians like who were rumored to have played on these records, these big records. And then live, you know, like they came in and did a fine job. There's a lot of swapping and substituting of players because of the money that was at stake, and the producers that were getting big paydays and big cuts off these records. They wanted to bring in like their cats. It's like, yeah, well, you can get the tour and do all the girls and the drugs and the videos, but I'm going to bring my drummer and my guitar player for this. And there was a lot of rumors back, you know, in like 80s, especially with cock rock about that. But the band mentality really came back as far as like, you know, we're a band and we're going to play as a band, and we're going to do it all together. We're going to stay united as a band through the whole process. I mean, it was a real shift. But people we're so burnt out on rock music between 80s metal and then thrash metal and then grunge being the pop music of the day and then new metal trying to substitute it. That's when the turn to hip hop really started and rap.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're back into there's always pop music. There's always the Ace of Bases and Whale and like super like one-offs and stuff. But now, I mean, the reason why people like complain about rock music today is because it was so saturated for like, I'd say a good 30 years. You could even argue like 40 with like classic rock and, you know, Vietnam and things like went from folk and protest to like electrified rock, hard rock music. So it's so interesting that unfortunately that everything got, you know, put in this like, you know, new metal thing of being stupid. And there was a lot of stupid clothes, of course, and bad hair and braids and those kinds of things that sort of happened. But there's a lot of great bands and a lot of areas that I think sort of got overlooked and caught up. Like, you know, Helmet's a band from this time, a No Frills band that had no look and no anything and just wrote, you know, have 3 or 4 killer albums. That's the list, you know, Static X. There's a lot of groundbreaking shit, and there's also a lot of shit.
If you said that obviously rock bands are really saturated in the 90s and the 80s, obviously it was the biggest genre, and now it's less saturated. Like, you know, these bands, Seven Dust, Helmet, you know, Monster Magnet, I mean, they're really solid. And do you think that, like, although it was saturated and there was so much, you know, good stuff and there was some bad stuff, but do you think the quality has dropped off just for the simple fact of numbers now?
I think the motivation, I think the art of playing music, you know, it's like, look at our show. I mean, look, Late Night with Seth Meyers, I've been on the show from the beginning, and I will say that the big kudos I always say is, even though like they didn't really, there we go. That's the
players, and they come out, you know, several months later with a single and then the album cycle, and then people just kind of forget it and wait for the next one.
Correct.
I saved $700 with Liberty Mutual.
I don't know if it's like, I don't want to be like an old timer, a sad person, but I don't know. I kind of like don't know where it goes. I don't know. Like, look, I just feel sad. I feel sad that like there's Grunge Bible reminded me that there are people out there who care about this era. And I think a lot of people, my peers in high school, in college, the popular crowd, even when this music was like big, we're always like, we're so short-sighted to not think that it was going to be the next classic rock. I mean, Pearl Jam, all that stuff in the 90s, Nirvana, everything now, that isn't considered classic rock now. It's in the canon of classic rock. And it's like people were so in denial. Like, I think I told you guys the story for my 10-year high school reunion. They asked me to make a mix. They asked me to make, They asked me to make a top 10, like Letterman style. Cause like, you're working in comedy. Can you write a top 10 list? And I said, sure. And I wrote it, and they ended up putting it inside a mix CD, and they gave the CD out to everyone at the end of the night. And I was like, oh, fuck, like, this is going to be great. I didn't know you guys are doing this. Like, oh, yeah, we're doing, like, just the biggest songs of the era. And I'm like, oh, great. Dude, it was, like, Ace of Base. It was, like, all the pop shit. They completely whitewashed all the rock music. They were so out of – I'm like, I go, where's Nirvana? Where's, like, all the Pearl Jam stuff? Like, where's the stuff that defined our generation? The guy who did it was just, like, this kid who was just not a music person. Yeah. He just, like, didn't think about it. And it was so disposable. And I was so, of course – I was so fucking pissed. I was so offended. I would go, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, I'm falling exactly into the trap of like exactly who I am. And I didn't care. And I go, this is bullshit. And I remember throwing the disc. Like, I'm like,
the wrong person gets the aux.
I'm fucking like, I mean, what was I, like 20? I don't know, my high school. It was like 2005. And I was like, oh, fuck this shit. Like, what an asshole. But also, like, fuck you. Like, there was such great stuff, and they were so ignorant about it. And there's so few people, I think, even from my generation, who still are interested in, like, what Seven Dust is doing, what Pearl Jam is doing. Like, I think I posted I was at Pearl Jam. It's like, oh, you're there? I can't believe you went. It's like, can't believe I went. Fucking, like, Matt Cameron was cool enough to get me tickets. And I'm like, remember Matt Cameron? They're like, oh, yeah, like, he was like the drummer dude, and I'm like, get the fuck out of my life. I go, these are like you're shitting on your legends, and especially the ones who are like normal people. And I'm so grateful that we had that, and I get so mad that guys like you and your generation didn't. And you can always make the best out of it in yoga, but it's just like I just don't think the world is set up and designed anymore to accommodate enough individuality to make a movement that isn't going to be like sort of manipulated or driven by commercial need and financial.
Sure.
It's such a great
I'm
point.
not trying to be negative or pessimistic.
No, you're
just
not. It
realistic
is such a great point, and I think that's why the page works. The nostalgia, that even like the nostalgia you're getting for the new metals and the early 2000 bands and the stuff like, you know, there's a completeness to the bands, even like the Panic at the Disco or, you know, My Chemical Romance and like those bands, because they were really big in like, you know, 2010. And,
yeah, to be fair, no, and you know, to be fair, I'm sure someone who's listening could be like, "What about my chem and the emo movement?" Like,
right,
Kate, my
modern
girlfriend's
baseball.
34.
Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh yeah, but like even pop punk. To be fair, like pop punk, I think correctly, like people were obsessed. They knew Travis, they knew Mark, they knew these guys and they knew their names. Like, to be fair, like I think there was still a bit of that in like early 2000s. I just feel like it's sort of all flamed out, and then there's like this like backlash against rock. But the reality is, even though like it was be down for a while, it's like it's always been there, and it's just people look at it as rebellious and they look at it as juvenile. And when I tell people I'm a metalhead or I like rock music, it's why they do this to me. It's like, yeah, leader man, and I'm like, what are we doing? And they're really, it's really a shame because it's I saw past the costumes and the silliness and the machismo and all the thing that the sexism and like this overall silliness and just the overall aesthetic of it that presented itself. And all I saw was skilled musicians and interesting people and an escape. And now I don't know. I can't believe how few people I know who have kids in their early teens don't play an instrument and aren't in a band. It's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the parents?
Where are they?
Not watching this.
No,
They're in
seriously not. And I feel like people's listening habits now, and I'm sure it's always been this way, but like I think people are so susceptible now to groupthink, where it's like the powers that be anoint something as like, you know, it hasn't aged well, so there's no value in it, so we're not going to listen to it, or like that's not cool, so we're not going to be listening to it.
You know, it's the same concern. That's not cool, and it's just like it's so boring to be like it is cool, and to be like, and to be reactive, and to get mad, or to be like contrary, because it's just the way that society is set up, and people thought that they even had to have long hair to play this music, or had to look a certain way to play this music. I mean, like my hair is long right now, and I'm contemplating. I'm like, oh, maybe I should just cut it because I still have it and I haven't lost it. And I'm just like, maybe. And I'm just like, no, because when I think about it, like, it's like, it is like you wear it sort of like a bit of a badge. It sort of defines my personality. And I can't help that. And it's also, I don't think I look totally ugly with it. I mean, you know, I do it because I think there is still a stigma that's been ingrained where it's just like, this shows that I still believe in what I've always believed in. And I'll cut it and I'll grow it again, and then I'll get plugs, and then I'll jump off a cliff, and it'll be fine. But I don't know why it's always looked at as a thing that has to be like, man, we should really get them in the Hall of Fame. Like, dude, Iron Maiden's still not in the fucking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What are we doing, fam? Idiots. Bunch of fucking morons.
That's an entirely different conversation. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, that should be an episode. We should look at all the rock bands who are not in, and then Ethan and Chris are gonna be like, Grunt Truck needs to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, how come fucking Tad Doyle's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? But
well,
also,
it always
Tad
happens
Doyle.
every single year. Like when the voting period comes along, like we'll inevitably get an influx of DMs for like specific bands, and like, oh, like you need to post about this to help get them elected. I'm like, I can't do anything. Like, you know, people, the fucking Rock Hall of Fame, man. Like, I don't know. Like
I don't
the
know.
people they induct and just whatever's going on there. I don't even know what their process is. And I don't really even see that there's that much validity to it.
No, but it's awards and people who claim they don't care about it. I mean, like what Fugazi is like the only band who like really stuck to their guns. Rage Against the Machine, you know, like they're nominated, but they didn't get in, right? Rage.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like they don't want to be there, or like I don't believe it. Like everyone likes being honored, and there's very few people like when it's their time to step up. Like look at Howard Stern, right? He loved being an outsider. He thrived on it. He loved being shocking. He loved the big celebrities not coming to him. And now he's considered the consummate interviewer, and all his old school fans say he's lost his edge. Guy's fucking like almost 70, if not 70. It's like he is like people change, people get older, and he's gladly enjoying the spotlight. And even though he has less viewers and less say over the media landscape, and his opinion is less valued, and what did Howard say? It's just like everyone ultimately wants the statue. Everyone ultimately wants that thing. There's very few people who, when it comes down for their turn to be anointed and put up on the pedestal, say, no, thanks. I'm still punk rock to the day I die. You know, it's like, yeah, there's a handful of people out there and that's cool. But like everyone wants to do that. And I think that's a human trait. But
Yeah.
He has
Yeah,
a
that
fun
makes
relationship with Bill Maher. Do you follow that at all, Eric?
I'm sorry, who?
He has a fun relationship with Bill Maher. I don't know if
Who
you
does?
follow.
Who does?
Who you're just talking about?
Howard Stern?
Yeah, Howard.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you forgot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but I think
Oh, yeah, I don't know if you followed or not.
no, but I think I think Mars great. I think Mars always been center right and center left, and if you're center right and center left on issues, that means that you're flexible and you're not stuck in this partisan pathway. And I like Bill just strictly from the fact that I feel like he's honest to himself and what he likes, and I think he's great. I really like Bill Maher. I like watching that show.
Yeah. The Howard Stern thing is really interesting to me, just being the age that I am. Like, I mean, just in the last year, like Howard Stern did an interview with both the president and the vice president. And it's weird for me to think that like he has that type of platform and access. Whereas like knowing what I know about who he's been like in the 80s and 90s and what his reputation was, and just, I guess, like the image rehabilitation that he was able to pull off to be able to have that type of coin is interesting.
I think when you think about that, he has. Do you guys know what I mean? He has Beetlejuice in the Whack Pack. I interned at K-Rock, which was 92.3 in New York in summer after my freshman year of college. Oh, hold on, there's a visitor. And
Iron Maiden pinball. Let's go.
And dude, I'm wearing my Maiden shorts for you guys. And
Love it.
Hold on, let me get it. It's very distracting. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. This is a good time. Sorry to everybody out there. The live stream cut out because I think 7 Mary 3 Cumbersome was copyright problem. It's
yeah, it's funny. We're rolling along.
Videos.
We're rolling along, and then we get some like, what happened? What's going on? And I get an email to the inbox that says, live stream copyright notice. Your stream was interrupted due to copyright material. After material is no longer being detected, the stream will automatically be re-enabled. So. And not only that, we've got our next
Moose?
special guest here.
Moose, guys.
Yeah.
Moose, the most distinguished gentleman.
Is he the older? He's the older. No, he's the younger.
Oh, he's the younger.
Yeah, he's
I love that we're getting the full shot right there.
I want everyone to see the stature.
See some rare
show dog. Yeah, papers.
Of course.
It's a fucking show dog.
What do you think? You think I'm gonna be like one of those? Oh, I got him. He's a rescue. Like he came from Korea. He used to fight people in the streets, and I rescued him. He was in a shootout with the police, and then they captured him. They captured him alive, and then we sent him to L.A. and then we flew him here. We picked him up, and now he's in his forever home. No, this is a dog that's purebred in Long Island who comes from a strong line of German fucking purebred, the miniature Schnauzer. non-shedding, hypoallergenic, under 20 pounds, smart, agile, great personality. That's it. And I will not get a rescue dog. Sorry.
What's Moose's favorite band?
Moose is it? I don't know. Moose is he's a bit of a Megadeth fan, but he doesn't care for the fact that he's real thrash.
What does he think about the Iron Maiden Metallica like feud?
The Iron Maiden Metallica feud. I was thinking of the Iron Maiden Ozzy feud.
Oh yeah. I just want to say, I think that people want to hear this. I got a few comments that say Eric's music knowledge is incredible and extensive. So,
oh my God,
people love listening to you.
See, now I'm being seen.
There's nowhere to hide.
So Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Ozzy.
Oh yeah. So the feud is the Ozfest when Maiden and Ozzy were feuding the whole time. It was really Sharon and Sharon and a bunch of like her cronies. I don't know who it was, but I mean, I love Sharon. She's great, by the way. Got during the Maiden set, started throwing eggs at Iron Maiden. It was fucking Sharon Osbourne, like from the front of the stage, and Bruce like stopped the show. It was crazy.
She was throwing eggs.
Sharon.
Wow.
Sharon. I get confused. I'm usually really good about this, but I get confused around what year this tour was. But it was Ozzy, and I don't know if it was Sabbath Ozzy, but they were feuding the whole time, and it had to do with I forget what it had to do. It's pretty well documented, but it had to do with like the management the feuding and like PA stuff, which is always a great thing. Like, oh, we only got half the PA power, and they're always trying to one up each other. It was real weird.
Did you see Ozzy live?
I've seen Sabbath a couple of times with Ozzy. I saw that in London too. That was great. And I saw Ozzy solo a handful of times too. Yeah.
So I'm not a big Oz head or Sabbath. Like I haven't been too deep. That
tracks. I like Ozzy more than Sabbath.
But I've watched my fair share of some live stuff, and I think it was because when I was younger, my dad was like, Ozzy's like, he bit the head off a rat, which we were going to show on here. I think This Day of Music was, let me get it correct before.
Yeah, we're on the anniversary of the biting the head off the bat, which by the way, I did not know Monday, that happened. And it happened in Iowa.
I think so. Remember, everyone was throwing like shit on stage. He didn't do it knowingly. He did it.
Wait. How does one
throw a live bat on?
Right.
And he picked it up, and he just he picked it up and bit it like as a bit, and then he's like, "Oh shit!"
Drew, will that hold up in the court of law?
Dude, he just got a rabies shot and he called it a day. Meanwhile, Taylor Momsen got bit by a bat on stage a couple months ago. I thought that was fucking.
Hey guys, real quick. With that, I'm gonna leave you. Love you.
Drew, where do you have to be?
The producer, he's got a dinner reservation, Eric.
Yeah, it's 10:30 there. He's
Drew, is that a Christmas tree behind you or a plant?
No, that's it's a cat tree.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's nice meeting you. I mean, what an exit. Good to meet you, buddy.
Hey man, good to meet you. See you guys. Love you. Bye.
We'll see you, Drew.
See you at the 400th, Drew.
Yeah, I don't know if 400's a guarantee or not.
Sure it is. Come on.
200. You know how old we're gonna be at 400?
At 400, they're gonna start giving you benefits and a 401k. Stick around.
Who's giving us that?
Yeah, who's going to do that? Who's funding?
No, for real. Eric, big fan. Nice to meet you, man. Appreciate
you too, Drew. Pleasure.
See you guys.
See you, Drew.
See you, man. Thanks for the help.
Getting us dinner.
Guys, do you have any other guests tonight, or are you just relying on a producer from a late night show who lives in Brooklyn?
Cafaro was going to come on, and he still may, but he's working on gallery, and we were going to bring in some of our Patreon guests and some random people that support.
That's lovely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
but people are really loving hearing you, so we don't want to.
Who is loving? Where's my Patreon? No one's fucking paying me.
Well, that's here. Hey, this is our show. You can't be siphoning off the You know, you're
No,
gonna
I would
shake us
never.
down on
I
our
would
own
send it. You
Patreon.
know, I'd send it right back to you, boys. That's it.
So-
I still have not. By the way, the number of times that I've been on podcasts since I did yours and all the other ones, the number of times I've done it, and I have still not. And as a producer who consider
Listen to it.
48-year-old producer, I still don't have a light. I still don't have anything on my wall.
Yeah.
I still have the work because I tell these guys, "Go, you guys need to fix your backgrounds." Meanwhile, I still don't have shit. It's awful. I literally have a
There's
stack.
bags.
A stack. No, it's a stack. These are all snare drums.
Oh, there's
Okay.
Yeah.
I got
I
you.
want to shout out Humes and Berg.
Can you show us a drum? Can you show us one of the you've been I feel like you've been getting a new snare each month, like that you're like custom. I'm like, dude,
I'm unwell. In here,
I'm like this guy.
There's 6 cymbal cases. I'll take some. You know what I'll show you?
Let's do a gear check.
I'll show you.
Give us. I want to see a snare. All right. Cymbals.
I'm
Cymbals are
going
cool.
to show you one. This was the snare that Ludwig custom
I love
did that
it.
was in the studio for the show. Custom made.
Nice.
Maple, 6.5 by 14, die cast hoops. Beautiful. This is
Damn.
it's been reskinned, but yeah, this is
That blue
this
is
was in the
sweet.
studio for. It's weird. We got it like right. I think we got it like right before COVID, but it was the last snare drum. So I have the kit, but I brought the snare drum home because I'm going to NAMM in Anaheim next week and doing some work with Ludwig there. We're gonna sort of rehash and remember the last year of the HE band on the show, and I'm gonna bring the snare. We're gonna have it as like a backdrop piece. But yeah, hand painted lacquer. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that blue's popping on the screen.
It's popping, right? It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
I'm
It's
sure in
on board.
person it's awesome. It probably sounds great too.
I mean, it looks
That's
great
a
with the
killer
prime
drum.
studio lighting that we have going on here, and it's unfortunate that we got into the home studio setup conversation right after Drew left because Drew has been bitching at us to like get more lights and to spruce up the studio, our respective studios, but we haven't done it. Ethan, do you plan on doing it?
I mean, I did a little bit of work today. I put up this little. I moved something, and but like I need a third camera or a second camera, but nah, this room doesn't have the space and the ability to do it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Guys, I'm acting as producer right now. I'm going to tell Anna good night. Thanks for watching. Eric as Drew.
So important note,
Standing
Anna
producer.
is the first individual in Grunge Bible podcast history to get a personalized goodnight message from Eric Lederman. So that's pretty great.
That's it.
Well,
guys.
it's Eric that's acting as Drew. Eric is the interim producer. This
Yes,
evening.
I literally look at my comments there for everyone to see it. It's just like Drew is going to be like, how is Drew younger than you guys?
Same age as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the
30.
youngest of the pack.
Yeah.
Anna's honored. I'm probably talking to a 15-year-old. I need to stomp. Anyway,
Yeah, that's always well. I mean, to speak of like the draw that like the music that we post about has like it's funny when we first started this, like people our age were the youngest people that were interacting with it, but now like there's like 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds and like they'll comment or like they'll message and whatnot. I'm just like,
you guys are obviously the biggest you've ever been. And I think for the diehards who are listening, I would pose the question to you: what's your plan? I'm a little bit on this. Okay, Zach's 34. God bless. I'm definitely the oldest one here, but I will tell you that, like, what do you guys think the evolution is going to be for Grunge Bible? You evolved from memes and clips. Anna's 14. God damn it. Right. What did I fucking tell you guys?
past your
cursing,
bedtime, you gotta go to bed.
She might be West Coast, you know,
But still, it's past your bedtime.
or Europe or something.
No, she's doing great. Yeah, whatever.
She's into grunge.
But what is the future? I mean, like, what do you guys? I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. But what do you think? What do you think the evolution is going to be for Grunge Bible in a way to keep this era, this generation of bands, in the forefront, for you guys on online and on multiple platforms? You guys thinking about that, or are you both thinking about like fucking getting out of the game?
What's a good question? You said keeping the bands and obviously grunge the focus. I think that the longer we do it, I mean, we've definitely talked like when we talk about topics for the podcast. I mean, we've reviewed a lot of the albums, and there's always endless topics, but we do find that we want to get out of, like, we want to get more into, say, the Seven Dusts, or maybe not them, but like more bands that aren't the big four.
Yeah.
For conversation, just to keep it interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a good. I mean, I think when we talk about Seven Dust, we talk about a lot of bands here, and this guy Doug is like probably like a little older than me. You know, there's still a connection for those things, and I like that you guys mix up. And once in a while, there is like you guys really. Once I saw Chris at the Queen's show, and I changed his life. I changed his life.
I was with the guys at dinner earlier tonight that I was with at the Queen show. Actually.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
And Chris was really enjoying the show. But I will tell you that. But it was a real eye opener for me to be like, there's still a lot of bands out there that have a lot of life to them and have a great history that like people just like miss. Dude, I didn't start listening to like Iron Maiden until like after college. I just missed it. Like, you know, and
wow.
And even funny enough, I saw 2 shows in the last Iron Maiden tour. Nico's last tour, which I didn't know about, and I'm friendly with Nico, lovely guy. He did the show back like in 2016. You did the show,
yeah,
and just a lovely guy. And they have an album called Somewhere in Time from 1986, and I never listened to it. I just was like, oh, it's so dumb. They're dressed up as like Blade Runner. I'm like, it's so dumb. And when I tell you it's a perfect album, they played like 5 tracks off it on this tour that I saw twice. I was like, oh my God, I missed this whole record. And my buddy next to me is like, I told you, dude. And I'm just like, all right. I go, I didn't know. I just missed it. So my point is, if anyone's out there who's listening right now and watching us and with any regularity, of course, on the GB page and the podcast, it's like there's still so much stuff that we haven't got to. Imagine the stuff that other people have missed.
You make a really good point. Just bring up the fact that just because we've listened to it and done all of our research and done all of the listening, basically, doesn't mean that the people that are watching or stumbling upon the page have. And that's how we started. And then we got into more bands. And like, I mean, our music knowledge has has improved tenfold because of this page and the exploration from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, people are, I mean, they're, 14 and 15 and 20-year-olds and people that weren't around and they're just getting into their music exploration. So if the music is good, and we all believe it is, like, and it's going to have a staying power, and it's just like, I think that it really does have a space. I mean, it's just history, it's music history now. And like, it's so beautiful. I mean, we definitely talk about it all the time, the bands and how there's so much music. I mean, even like, the Beatles catalog, like I'm not a huge Beatles guy, but like, I don't know if anybody's like, can you even listen to all of the Beatles stuff?
Well, here's the thing I will tell everybody about the Beatles. And this is a great example that you brought up. I'm not a Beatles guy either, but I will tell you when I went to go see Paul McCartney live, I think it was the year I got divorced. It was like the first time I saw it, I was still married, and it was like 2017. And the show changed my life. And everyone's like, oh, he can't sound as good. He's not this. And I'm like, I know that song and that song. I knew Wing songs. I knew solo songs just by living in the world.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like that. There's stuff like that like you can't, it's timeless. And I get it. It's not my direct bullseye, but when I realized how much it's always been around me in the ether. And the one thing I would say too about that, another lesson where I always think like, oh, I know music. I know I've already seen it all, heard it all. The one thing I'll say to anyone who is a diehard GB fan, because they are watching this silly shit, is if you have an opportunity to see a band that you've never seen and they're coming to your town, you might think that someone says, well, they're not as good as they used to be, or they're old, or it's not all the original members, or they're only doing this record. And you can afford it because it's so expensive now. And I say it's someone coming from a privileged place of having access, but spending my entire teens, 20s, and a lot of my 30s always paying and buying merch and records and all of my money. So I don't feel bad about any of when someone gives me comps, and I still always try to buy merch. But like I'm saying, go to these shows, go support musicians a lot, because they are not, dude. Like look at like all the metal and like it's like the younger metal bands and hard rock bands, they aren't overtaking. It's still like older bands, like
Right.
yeah, it's Metallica and stuff, but like look at like Gojira and like bands like that. Like those guys are like my age
Mm-hmm.
and a little older, a little younger. Like they're around that. So like guys who are like close to like the 50s are like headlining all the shows, or older. Priest. It's just like no one's really taken over the mantle, and that to me is shows where the break is, where it's sort of like, I don't want to say it's like end times, but I want to say that creatively there is not something that's taking the plate. The generation's always passed over. I hear they're passing the torch to the next one. I don't think that exists. I don't think that exists in a way, or at least it's not being elevated commercially, but and maybe that is the advancement of what's possible on the instruments has not that everything's been done, but I don't know how much room there is to really inspire like a movement that comes out of Seattle, Washington, that changes a kid in Chicago who fucking was annoyed that he had to fucking go to gym class the first period until someone handed him a cassette of Nevermind. And I was like, oh shit. Like, I think those things happen still for sure. I just want to say, I don't think that they're as special. I don't think that it's as unified. Everything is so split and cohesive and niche and custom tailored to what you want to hear and what a computer thinks you want to hear, what your phone thinks you want to hear, not what your fucking abusive stepbrother, but who has good taste in music wants you to hear. It's not me. But I'm just saying that I think that I don't see a path that's as clear and as organic as it was. And that's why I always come back saying this. It's like pages like this, or it's like reminding people of like there's footage of this era. There's times, there's people who witness these things. And it's so important to try to claim them as your own, even if you weren't there. So important.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to take its place.
What do you think about jam bands and the scene that they kind of have? Because like you're thinking, yeah, but like, which is exactly the response that I was thinking. But like, you think about like following bands, and I mean, the jam band community has this really special, like,
totally.
They figured it out. Like people go to like 4 nights in a row to hear one song, like, and they're really the scene is still like pretty alive, I'd say, compared to like the rock scene, and like they have it going. And I mean, of course, like there's, I don't know, that seems like the lot and how people go and tailgate, and people do that for every show, but I think it's still out there with music, how people like follow bands, but at the same time, it is interesting because I feel like bands are playing longer and later into their years, like you said.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you'd expect, or maybe it was not like that. I don't know. Were people doing super late shows or older shows in the 90s?
I mean, I just don't think a lot of those guys, I don't think they really thought that they would live. I think it was just like live fat, like just go hard, and like, because they were copying like, their generations of like what a rock star was. And there's a lot of bands that were smart, smart with their money, smart with their bodies, smart with how they treated it. But I think jam bands, I think there is, it's a bigger like coat. I understand why people like it. People want to feel like they're part of a community.
Yeah.
You go and I think that's what music is, and finding your people and stuff. But like, I don't want to sit there and I don't know. I just think it's a totally different flavor. And yeah, they're playing instruments that they're great at. I just don't think, for me, it's not about, there's just no songs.
I guess
there's just no songs for me that like really.
Yeah, it's jamming. There's not a lot of
like jamming, and it's a vibe and a feeling. And
I guess the thing, I've been to a few jam shows like Goose and whatnot, and I feel like the crowd is a little bit more interactive with each other, and I feel like that's how it sounds like it was when you were in shows. Like people would interact a lot more, probably because of social media. It was not as big, or just like phones and whatnot. But I go to like a Foo Fighters show, a big show, and I'm in there, and like I talk to people around me, maybe a little bit with some other people, but it's so much more passing by than you'd expect for scenes. And that's a big show, I guess, or even smaller shows.
But remember the beginnings of like the Dead and all that stuff. It was in response. It was also in response to a war that people all agreed was not necessary. Mm-hmm. And people bonded that way, and great art came out of that. And people didn't have their phones to get their information. They had limited news sources. The newspapers, like, were clearly like either behind it or not behind the war. And a real counterculture arose from that, especially after coming out of like the promise of like suburban life and, get married and have a couple of kids of like the 50s.
Right. That
And
generation gap.
Yeah. Then the government leaders started to like sort of ruin the American experiment and let people down, and realize that there was a lot of money to be made and really what a capitalist democratic society means. And I still think there isn't a better one to live in, but a lot of young dummies who are sitting on their phones all day think that. But that's not my problem. But I think my point is the hippie thing and the collective thing, and people, that's their escape. So I don't shit on it, but Kate has seen many, many Fish shows, and I still refuse to go. I won't be a part of it.
Yeah.
I won't be a part of it because also all the people who listen to that music were either rich assholes or rip me off with drugs, and all the time. I found that to be deplorable.
Two things you hate.
That's it. Like, and I don't do any of those things anymore. And I just like felt them to be dishonest. I felt that the scene was dishonest, and metal, it's posturing, and rock is like a lot of posturing and too coolness. But to me, it was always just like so easy to talk to people and to do that. Now I go to a show, and the reality is I'm in like a bit of an ivory castle. I want to be in the VIP section. I want to have access backstage. I want to watch the show on the side. I want to know if I want to know if I have a monitor mix on the side of the stage and if there's beers. I'm a fucking prince about it. I'm not in it. But like when I went to Maiden, my friend's like, yeah, we're going to go out in the front. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. We watched from front of house and like got the full blast of it. And I have to remind myself to go out and do that and to like see a kid who's never been there with his parents who like are my age and they have a kid there and they're like, yeah, it's his first show. And I'm like, oh fuck, like that's amazing. So I think people do that with Fish and Dead and Goose and all that stuff. I just don't give a fuck about like.
I know what you're saying. I mean, like when
I tell me like Casey Jones, tell me a Fish song that really has stuck out and entered the zeitgeist that you'll hear at an arena, that you'll hear when you're out. I don't think those are bad things. I think those are real things.
Well, I think
many of those songs sound like you'll hear all those songs in the world, but Fish, it's like it's just a feeling. It's the original vibe. And
well, I was gonna say that, like, as somebody who I've gone to one jam band show, like I went to Goose with Ethan a few months ago, and like it's not really my thing. Certainly not as much as Ethan's like gotten into it a little bit, but it seems like with that, it's like the vibe of the show and like the like that like not cult, but like that that scene is so much more of an asset than like the vibe of like a rock show, because it's like I think like especially with a lot of the rock music and grunge type stuff, it's like people are going for one reason that they all have in common with one another, and it's because of the songs on stage and how it affected them and their relationship with those songs. Whereas I think with like the jam band, like there's just like more of an attraction to just like being involved in a scene that they think like that they feel is attractive to them and that they feel is an asset. It's just like the focus doesn't seem to be like as much centrally on like this is what this song did for me. It's like this is the feeling that I get when I'm.
I do think to be fair, I hear what you're saying, but I do think there's a lot of people who like set lists. Like what are they? Dad, you never knew what they were going to play. Fish, they did this and they brought this person out. I understand it. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it for me. I think those guys can all play. I think
it's incredible marketing.
What's that?
It's incredible marketing.
It's marketing, but I do think it came from an organic place.
It did. No, it did. I'm just saying, like now, like
you don't have to care. I don't care.
Yeah, it's but like I compare. So I saw the Foo Fighters at the Hershey Theater in Pennsylvania in the fall with Doug. He's one of our Patreon.
53-year-old.
I know him in real life. Doug. He was.
Hey, young Doug, don't die.
He's great. He helped buy these microphones that we.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, he donated. He's a big supporter of the Grunge Bible and the shallow ways in general.
Oh, that's lovely.
So he's the guy, and if he's still on,
he's
still on. He just complimented Eric again.
He's starting to take his shirt off. Doug, what's going on?
This is a shout out to Doug. So he's the guy that like he'll text me randomly, like, "Hey, you still around?" He's like, "I have extra tickets. I have 4 tickets to Lumineers. I can't go. I have 4 tickets to Goo Goo Dolls." He just like when shows go on sale, he buys them. He has like 5 shows like in the summer that he like is planning to go to, but like things will ultimately come up. So he always buys. So he always has tickets. So I went to the Foo Fighters with him, and it was awesome. And we've seen him before. Doug, the Ticketmaster. Yep. Oh, Elijah's on. And but like the vibe that I got from Goose versus, Dave Grohl literally like screamed for 3 hours. And like, I love that, really great, but we were on our feet and it was like, it was it was a good show, but like, it was like, all right, each song was just like,
I agree. I know.
I don't know how to explain it. Like it was great. We heard all the songs we wanted to hear, but like when we were at Goose, like there was just so much more vibe to it than just like the guys up there playing the songs that everybody wants to hear. And it's very robotic at times because they know that the people came to hear these songs, where the jam community, it's like they want to hear songs that no one knows, or random, like they say they want to hear songs that no one knows.
Feeling. Everyone's chasing a feeling, right?
Oh yeah.
Everyone's chasing a feeling, and they chase those feelings, and then they try to get it from sources of art, whether they realize that or not. I get it. Like the Foo Fighters shows for me, like even with Taylor, I remember talking to Taylor and being like, long show, and he's like, it's a long show, and like he knew what it was, but like
long show.
To be fair, like Dave, who else can do that? Like no one else can do that. And, and also I've seen it. Like I remember like when we came back from COVID and everyone had to have a vaccine card at MSG. People were like crying, like it was a big deal. But like Foo Fighters, it's a different thing. Like they keep like the set. It's Dave's show. He has incredible stamina and energy. And they do a certain thing, but like the thing is, Dave knows. He's like, I bet Dave feels a lot of pressure being like the rock guy. He sort of like put himself in that position.
Sure.
Being like nice guy, rock guy, whatever is happening with him now is his own business. Like that's nothing to discuss. I don't give a shit. It's his problem to figure out. But as a performer and as an entertainer, he's made something. That's the thing. Like, dude, when they were touring the early days, I haven't seen them at Roseland. It was like the Dave show. And then it turned into the Dave and Taylor show. And then it was like this thing. And then when Taylor passed, like it was back to being the Dave show. And that is like a tremendous, he couldn't just like change it up and do things like, and really mix up the set. Like, there's lighting and there's production that needs to change. I didn't think about any of those things when I was younger. I'm like, why aren't they playing all the deep cuts and all this stuff? And I agree. I think that, but I do think that comes from Dave being a famous, gigantic rock star, super famous, who has to like, feels that he has to give people this long thing,
Yeah, he definitely,
remember they did half acoustic and half rock and they spun the stage. Like people don't realize, like they forget, like Foo Fighters have done a lot of things. They've done a lot of entertaining but I hear you. I also think selfishly, I don't think that the catalog with them is as deep as other bands to me, but he is very prolific. I will say about Dave, and he is a great entertainer, and we're lucky to have someone who's so successful in two bands. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I hear you, but
yeah,
fuck about jam bands. Fuck them.
Yeah. That's enough about jam bands. So I guess the next question would be, is what show are we going to go see together? What's the perfect show for the three of us to go together
for this year? Also, we have to.
Oh yeah, it could be this year. I'm just saying, like, what band? Does it have to be grunge? Do we have to go see Jerry together? Like, or what band? Or is it Pearl Jam?
Jerry's dead.
Jerry Cantrell.
Okay, I think it's a Jerry Garcia. I'm like,
Jerry Garcia.
That's funny. The other day. Yeah, I guess people think of Jerry Garcia before Jerry Cantrell. In our sphere, we think Jerry.
No, dude, I saw the Dead in high school at Soldier Field, in the second to last Jerry show.
I think I've seen video of the second to last with the last
at Soldier Field, and I went with a guy he worked with at a record store, and he's like, "You just got to go," and that's why I want. And I'll just say that this is why I don't need to see any of these jam bands. I was like, yo, this sucks. And at that point, well, Jerry was like at the end of his life. I go, I don't care. The vibe sucked. The people suck. It's so gross. Like metal shows, I see a vibe more in like the metal shows than like rock music. But like there's an energy at metal shows that is
authentic.
That's cross-generational. Someone say about Jerry. Yeah, oh yes, I'm going to see Jerry in a couple weeks in New York. He's doing Irving Plaza, and Roy Mayorga is playing drums, which I'm excited to see. And I think I'm trying to think who else. Who was on bass? I forget who else on. Who's
Oh, I forget. I saw him.
Trujillo?
I saw him twice when he toured his last record, and
You guys went. Didn't you both go?
yeah, we both. I saw him in Boston and then Providence, Rhode Island, and then Ethan saw them in Nashville a couple years ago
With
now.
the Ryman.
But, yeah, I forget the names of some of the guys who were in the band. I think Gil Sharon. He was playing. With
Gil
them.
was playing drums. I think Gil did the record. And about
Okay, yeah.
Roy is great. And Roy's doing the tour.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because Jerry's had like a fairly consistent group of collaborators, I think, on these last two records. And
yeah, I think for the record, I mean, Gil is a great Gil of the show. Gil's a machine. Great
yeah,
player.
and I think he's got Greg Puciato again doing the the other vocals, especially with the Chain songs.
Oh yeah, I mean here's the thing, dirty secret. I'm kind of excited to see Jerry. I haven't seen Chains in a while, but Chains is one that's so difficult. That's a whole other thing of like seeing them and
yeah,
right.
I've never seen them. They played. They play fairly frequently now. Like obviously with the current lineup, and they're always like they always do amphitheater shows. It seems during the summertime, and like the amphitheater near me, I just hate going to. It's just a pain in the ass, and like I don't really enjoy shows too much there. That's just me being snobby. But they played last summer or 2 summers ago, and I was like, oh, like I could go, but I was like, I'm tired. Like I'm not gonna buy a ticket. So I think they're paying.
Yeah, but you guys are in a different position. You guys are young and you guys are hustling out there. You don't have to go to every show, but like I'm just saying, like the big ones you should go to. Hold on, can I just answer like some of these questions real quick? Because I think they're.
Oh yeah.
I gotta let these dogs out. I'm gonna come back in like 5 minutes, but I'll just say, why do you post? This is a good question for you guys, and I actually think I know the answer to this, but I want to let you answer. Why do you? Sorry, I'm taking over sort of hosting. Why do you post Olivia Rodriguez, which means Olivia Rodrigo? Sick typo. Why do you post Olivia Rodrigo on Grunge? And I'm gonna throw that to you guys.
Oh yeah, that's a really good question, and there's a very very short answer. It is simply rage bait. So I would never say this on the actual page because I can't give up the secret. But you know, for all of the purists who are here late night burning the midnight oil with us, yeah, it's strictly rage bait. Like I mean, part of the page, like it's not why we do it anymore, but like it's fun to make it as big as it can possibly be, and rage bait goes a long way, and everybody gets commenting about it. So it's really funny how seemingly simple it is to like make a running gag like that, and then just like instantly, you know, hundreds of people will fall in with it and like argue on behalf of whatever you say, which is really strange. But I've seen her. I saw her like 2 years ago or a year ago. Like it was fun. It was interesting, like to see just how passionate everybody else was about her music. So like, I think that's cool. But I mean, she's not grunge, obviously. But,
no, but dude, those songs, Kate plays those songs. It's rock. You know, the guy. I know the MD of the band. He's a great drummer. He does a lot of other gigs. Those songs rip. Like those are rock songs. And like, dude, let me tell you about fucking Olivia Rodrigo. She had the Breeders open up for her and all these shows.
That's what I'm saying. Like any sort of conduit we can have for like, you know, teenagers or people who generally like would never step outside of pop music, like any sort of path that can open up for them to maybe, you know, get turned on to some stuff that they otherwise never would have. I mean, she had the Breeders. I know she's played with Alanis Morissette live a couple times, and you know she's referenced a lot of other bands from the 90s as being influential to her. Like, I mean, you know, if you get a bunch of like 16-year-olds who worship Olivia Rodrigo and Olivia Rodrigo speaks kindly or fondly of bands that influenced her, that's a cool path back. And,
big respect. That's big respect. And talk about your influence. Not like they're like, ooh, it's like these are great bands. Well, that's it's like, how do you not like? I think that's so cool. Like, and it's not like she had the Breeders like for one show. Like they were out with her.
Right.
They were out, and Breeders are great. You know, it's like that's the thing that's so crazy. It's like, what do you mean? Why? It's like why?
Yeah.
It's just like, and. I get why people ask the questions. Like if you just look at it as music, those are great rock. I mean, those are great rock songs. All those, that album, the last one, like I'm scared to see your next album because I bet it's going to be more pop. But it's just like,
right.
I think those songs are great. Someone's talking about Veruca Salt earlier.
Yes.
Veruca Salt, like there's some fucking hard rock shit there, and if it was two dudes singing there and like you changed it to like. No one would say anything. You know, like people get weirded out and they say, "Oh, it's a female front of band or Seven Dust." Like, "Oh, there's a black guy singing." Like,
Right.
it's like OG racist shit that like really bugged me. Like,
Well,
Living Color should have been so much bigger, but they're a bunch of black guys trying to like get like white people to listen to them. Like, they didn't have a chance. Meanwhile, they have fucking their first 3 records are fucking perfect.
Yeah.
No one cares. I mean, people care, but they don't care like they should have.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones are like, "Oh, we're taking these guys out." Rolling Stones took them out on their Steel Wheels tour.
Okay.
How fucking cool is that? I mean,
Yeah.
but all these other bands, Strutch. I don't know who Nick Perry is. Blackberry Smoke, Struts. It's
I've
fine.
seen Blackberry Smoke before.
I mean, it's fine. None of these. I think people, if it was a different era, like it feels like Seven Mary 3, like bands that kind of came on the heels of like the Strokes, you know, like the next generation. It's like they're here, like Greta Van Fleet. I mean, it's great. They pack arenas. They're young. Like, they have anything to lose besides ripping off Led Zeppelin. I don't know. Does it matter? Good for them, you know. But like, I just don't think any of these bands have impact. I think it's cool. I'm sure Blackberry Smoke has some great songs. Struts, I know some great songs. I know the live show is supposed to be pretty good. I'm sure it is. I'm just talking about leaving your mark. About leaving your mark and searing into the brains of a whole generation, not just like of some people. I'm talking about a real cultural movement like Guns N' Roses, like fuck people up and like inspire people. Pearl Jam, the grunge where they fucked people up. They're still talking about them. Remember that show Smashing Pumpkins, fuck people up. Metallica, fuck people. There's so many bands. But as you go on and on, like after Blink, after pop punk and some new metal stuff, it's just like it sort of starts to get thin. You know, basically like what the early 2010s. Like it starts to get a little weird.
100%.
And then you're like, is it over? And I don't. Maybe a lot of people would vehemently disagree with me. I don't give a fuck. It's just like I'm talking about big idea rock.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean like it's like sellout. I'm talking about music that's really impacted people.
Yeah.
Really like influence dress and influence like people to like change the way they treat their fellow man and change the way like what they do with their free time as a whole, not just like a one-off or a song, you know, real change, real generational change.
Yeah. And like with some of those bands like Blackberry Smoke or Greta, they're cool and like I enjoy them, but and like not to make an indictment of them or what they do, but like there's a lot of bands like that where I'm like, well, why go listen to them when like I'll just go and listen to the bands that they're very clearly inspired by that I also really appreciate that we're doing something, you know, a little bit more cutting edge.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's kind of one of those things that I just kind of
what would you do? What would you do, guys? Like what would you do? It's like you can go see Alice in Chains or you can go see Greta Van Fleet and like you're 18 or 20 and you really love Greta Van Fleet, but like, oh yeah, I heard Alice in Chains. They have like that couple songs I've heard on YouTube. Like that's what it is. Like, and then if you sent them to Alice in Chains and like they didn't know it as much or it didn't make it because like, look, it's not going to be as like dangerous. I always like using the word dangerous. The performance is when it was in the 90s.
Well, I see this.
But also then they can go see a younger band that's not as impactful forever, but is still young and still working hard out there and wants to put on a great show. Alice in Chains, they get it there. They know the deal. They know what they do. And they do, and it's a great show, but it's not like.
Well, what about if, you know, growing up when you were younger? I mean, if you had a chance to see the Beatles, or
I would have been at Woodstock. I would have been in all that shit. My parents could.
But like, if you had to pick like a historic band that you've only heard about and listened to, like the Beatles or Alice in Chains that you grew up with listening to, and you could see them again. Like if you go back and see, you could pick one of the bands right now with the original members.
It's Guns N' Roses' Appetite Tour. That's the one I wanted to see. That's the thing that like really, really like that album to me. That was and I was still very in. I was in from like Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. That's when everything started for me. And then if you think about Appetite, Appetite's weird. Appetite is 89, 90. I forget what it is.
I think it was 89.
I think it's 89 or even 88, oddly.
Yeah.
Because Use Your Illusions 92.
It was 92, I think. Yeah.
And that's at 89. Yeah. It's Doug's. I trust Doug because he's old. Bless you, Doug. Thank God. I need you. Opinion on the Turnstile records. We were talking about Turnstile with my friend Ross tonight, who is 38. And he's like, oh, I sort of missed the Turnstile record. Turnstile record is from Glow On 2001. That record is a perfect record. And metalheads agree on that record. It's kind of like a band called Band of Skulls, who their first few records are really good. Band of Skulls, but metalheads also liked it, and rockheads liked it. Turnstile hardcore people liked it, and metal people loved it. Scott Ian from Anthrax always, when he got into Turnstile, he got his whole family got obsessed with them because that record, and remember they have a couple records before this. Everyone thinks they're like kids. That record in 2001 was such a fucking game changer for hardcore. I did not.
Well, that's the thing. I have no idea. Like my frame of reference on Turnstile is definitely all wrong because I assumed that they were like a very recent arrival to the music scene.
Yeah, they're not. They have a couple. Oh, Mike says Appetite's 87.
Yeah, plus Mike.
Is it? Can someone just check that? That could...
Appetite for Destruction was released July 21st, 1987.
Wow.
Crazy.
So Patrick James was the first one to say 87.
Yeah,
87. No. That's earlier than
remember, but it's the same 87. I think something happened though, like with the if I remember from what's the name of the book? It's right here.
Pull up the Wikipedia, Chris.
GNR Lies was 80. What's that?
Pull up the book. Road, Mark Cannon Road, I think is his name. He's the guy. He like was hung with those guys, and it was really like with them in the beginning. I think the promotional rollout was slow. Yeah, and I think they didn't start but they sat on that record, and then they released Lies quickly as an EP because Appetite just blew up. But it took a minute for Appetite to really. That was like 10, it's sort of the same thing. Appetite definitely took longer to blow up than 10, but 10 they were overseas, right? Pearl Jam was overseas, and then they came back and it was the thing. And Nirvana was opening for Sonic Youth, and all of a sudden that's the way you used to promote a record. It's like you really had to it wasn't just like that, but it was 311, dude, fucking 311. I brought them to Iowa City.
Screw 311.
No, I know you hate them, but they
you like them?
I used to follow.
You were there. I get it,
bro. But in 1995, I went to
85,
95.
Oh,
I went to, and they were on their third record, and I got to freshman year in college, and 311 was fucking everything for me, and I was so obsessed. And I went to our college, and we had student run concerts, and we got to decide what bands we would throw bids out to. And I was so all about 311. I was all about 311. And they're like, okay, chill. And we brought 311 to the union, the school union. And fucking, who opened? No Doubt.
Are you serious? No Doubt.
And they were supporting Tragic Kingdom. And 6 months, everyone's like 311, 311. And I'm like, No Doubt's cool. I'm like, wow, what a great show. They were fucking energetic. And I'm
probably unreal.
It was unreal. But energy, it didn't connect with me. I needed, but I'm telling you, 6 months later, No Doubt was the biggest band in the world. 6 months after they did that. And they were opening for 311 in a college union. And then all of a sudden,
unbelievable.
They blew up. So it's, but 311, dude, I could I could talk about 311 for fucking ever.
Chris, can you share my screen? It's No Doubt. We're not going to get copyrighted. These YouTube guys aren't going to.
It's not No Doubt. It's the Wikipedia page for Appetite for Destruction.
All right, well, let's get into that while this is playing.
Yeah, it initially received little mainstream attention. Yeah. And it was not until the following year the Appetite became a commercial success after they toured, and it was all these singles. The album went on to peak at number 1, but when?
88. I think it was August of 88. I was reading. So over a year.
Right. But after heavy touring. Wait. After heavy touring.
The group signed with Geffen Records in March 86.
I have that vinyl. See the alternative cover? I have that on vinyl.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that's sick.
That was a band cover. It's completely a skeleton raping a woman, which is very woke.
Look at that.
It's awful, but it was insane. Look how insane it is.
It is pretty crazy. I love album artwork too. If we're gonna getting into I kind of or band t-shirts and stuff. the stuff back in the 90s was just
It was great.
primo.
You know, it's funny. I'm not a vinyl guy. Doug probably is more vinyl. I didn't get into vinyl until like, you know, the last like 15 years or so, just having, because I wanted to your point, I wanted to see it. It was still about cassettes and CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that's so funny about, like, it's still bigger now. The tangible factor is, even I find myself, like, I made myself put on vinyl tonight. I remember, like, I just got to play this vinyl. But
we just I'm actually wearing the shirt. Chris, do you want to tell the story about the merch?
Oh yeah, well you were speaking a little earlier about like what is our motivation for continuing with Grunge Bible, and like where do we see it going, and honestly, like,
back to the original question.
It's to go full circle.
Questions.
The easy answer is it's cool when people send us free shit. But we posted we were talking about like emo and like pop punk and stuff like that. Like couple months ago, like I posted, like I was just sitting at home at night, and like I posted like a bunch of modern baseball stuff, like the band from Philly from like the 2010s or whatever, and like their record label saw it and commented on it. I was like, hey dudes, like I love all the bands you put out. And they just like sent us like a big old care package, like a bunch of records and fucking coffee and t-shirts and like a mug and everything. So that super fucking cool.
That's what it's about. I mean, I think you just have to keep pushing, and you have to find ways to just keep connecting with people and stay on trend. We'll see what happens. Are you guys on TikTok?
We have a TikTok, but evidently it's not going to really mean much after.
Don't worry. There's too many people making money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think, like, just from an economic standpoint, like, I don't think they're going to be able to get away with this, because obviously, greater than national security, greater than any sort of, initiative. It's,
by the way, it's so funny because I will tell you that, like, TikTok is a security threat, and it became very partisan about, like, oh, well, TikTok's like, Trump wanted to shut it down, and why should they? It's just like, it's a fucking Chinese company. They're collecting. People don't even realize like where their data goes. Like, and that became like, oh, the Republicans want to censor free speech, and it's just like, there are good ideas on both sides. Everyone just no one even cares anymore. And now it's just like, and now it's going to come down to economics, and they'll be like, well, too many people are making money. It's like, okay, so what about all the other apps that people are like giving their fucking data to?
Like all of them.
It's the tip of the iceberg. But I mean, believe me, everyone here's freaking out about TikTok. There's don't worry. I'd be down for a certain amount of time or whatever. They'll figure it out.
Are you a TikTok guy, Eric?
Fuck
no way. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. Like I made one for Grunge Bible, and like I would just like repost shit that I posted on the Instagram and everything, and I just haven't kept up with it enough.
But you should. Yeah. Once they rebrand, you guys should do that. So we can have an offline meeting about that. But there's no reason not to do that.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, what about? Is it Facebook still pays like a ton? I was just talking to my I work a tree service job, and this guy, he claims that he's making money off. He posted something on Facebook, and they made him a creator, and he's like, he just posted a video of him cutting down a tree, and like people were like giving him shit for a lot of stuff. But like he said he made like $600. I was like, what? There's no way. I was like,
if you guys made cuts, if you guys like made original content, who's that guy? Who's the guy who you saw that the 90 warehouse burned down?
Yes.
Who's the guy who's like the rock guy who talks to himself in TikTok?
Oh, Jacob Givens.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So like if you guys did content like your own version of like what he does,
right?
You guys were there before him.
So do you think that, like, I mean, the page, it definitely started with like music. I mean, it still is music content, but then as they moved into memes, do you think moving into like showing our face, like we both posted a story, like, do you think showing the faces, like, I mean, people, it's like the same thing, like people come for a certain thing, and if they don't get it, will they leave, or will it just change fan base?
I don't know. I mean, I think
like we can't do what Jacob Givens does.
No, I don't think that's your personality. I mean, he wants to be like on camera, and he's created a thing where he's like he's like a Hesher like me. I think he's a few years younger. He looks to be a few years younger, or he's close to in age, close enough. But I feel like he's lived those things. I feel like sometimes his content's like not for me. Right. I don't like follow him or anything like that. It's because it's very focused on him.
Sure.
And I think that's cool, but I think he elicits the emotions that people felt when they first heard these things, like someone like a Doug here, like people who were there, and he's playing on that. It's just like the first time you heard Never, like, what's this? Like the way he does it, like it's a little cringy for me, but like,
yeah, like the back and forth camera thing
but
that he's doing. Yeah.
like that's me being like, ugh, because he's putting himself out there. If you guys were together and you guys were like always around each other and stuff, and like you did that and built up your characters and personalities more, but you weren't there then, so you have to figure out a way to do it where you're creating original content as opposed to like the memes are good, and I think you guys have things that people come to you for, but I mean, well, we should talk about this offline and not bore people with it. But why don't you guys keep
Eric?
Yes, let me walk these
Doug,
dogs.
what?
Let me walk these dogs.
I was gonna say, Doug texted me. He said he has an extra ticket to Goo Goo Dolls in August. Do you want to go?
Oh, I'm super tied up. Bye.
Go walk those
He didn't
dogs.
actually text me that, but I wanted to say that.
I'm gonna take these guys up for a squirt, and I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Look, it's Dave Grohl.
I love the camera off transition into we have Dave Grohl at home.
Can we just? So Eric's not here. Oh, he's still here.
No, he's
Shit.
back.
Get out of here, Eric. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk high praise on you, and I don't want you to hear it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. People have come and gone, I assume, but there are people that have been here the whole time, and I think that's thanks to Eric. Because Chris, I mean, what would we do without him?
Dude, I'm still in a suit. I'm still in a suit, man.
Yeah, if you want to take this time to go change, you could do that too. This is a good time. But like,
I'm locked in.
Eric is absolute legend, and yeah, man, it's been such an honor to have him on. It's so great to hear him talk all of his music knowledge, and we're 2 hours into this stream, Chris. And
Yes, we are 2 hours, and we haven't touched any of our notes for the stream yet.
That's why
we only
you
have
bring
an hour and 20 minutes to go.
That's why you bring in hired guns like Eric, because it writes itself. Yeah, we were gonna bring in some other people, but like Eric, it is what it is, but it's great. I'm having a great time. How's the beer? How the beers going for you, Chris?
I have half a beer left.
You're going high. Yeah, dude,
yeah. We're both drinking the champagne of beers. I've got half a beer left. I'm gonna have to re-up here in a little bit. Plush Mike says Chris is trying to go full blown Sinatra tonight. Fun for you, Plush Mike. I was at a restaurant that Frank Sinatra occasionally would dine at, actually. With people that may or may not have been involved in organized crime. But, that's the mafia definitely didn't really exist, in these old Italian neighborhoods near which I live. I do want to interject for everybody out there. If you're on YouTube, you guys are the OGs. You kind of get the gist of this thing. But for those rolling along on Instagram, this is episode 200 of the Grunge Bible Podcast, rolling live. If you want to be a true and unbelievably true OG, you can head over to the YouTube page and join us here so we can interact with you in the comments. We're not able to see your Instagram comments, so it'd be sick if you could come on over here. Here's a good one. LW says Black Keys are probably the most recent band to affect culture and probably will be the last, unfortunately. I don't know necessarily that they had an effect on culture aside from just, and rightfully so. I would do the same thing too. I'd sell all of my catalog to, GMC commercials and to sell Chevy Silverados and everything. But I do like the Black Keys are like a similar vein, I think, to like what we were talking about with Olivia Rodrigo earlier, where it's like they can get people to kind of go back and listen to some of the blues and to some of the people that inspired them. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, all of these musicians, like I appreciate when a lot of them are forthcoming about what their influences are and what inspired them. Like the Black Keys, for example, I'm sure they did it for me in a big way. Like they introduced me to R.L. Burnside. I mean, they did like a tribute album to him. And I think a couple of years ago, they did one that was heavily inspired by him and all of the Delta blues music of the past. Yeah, Patrick, I would agree the White Stripes would have had a bigger cultural impact, I would say, than the Black Keys. But similarly, like that's the interesting thing where we line up, Ethan, is just like the time and place in which we were born. We just don't have the firsthand knowledge of a lot of these things. So we kind of have like the hindsight being 2020.
Yeah, the Black Keys and Black Keys, White Stripes were They were early 2010s. I mean, were they that much before then?
Yeah, well,
Like,
the Black Keys were their first record
They've
came
been
out, I think, in like 01 or 02,
Yeah.
which was probably one of their better ones. But it was just kind of the same conversation that we were having earlier. Like they kind of fell in at a time where, you know, rock was still in vogue and guitar-driven music was still in vogue, and you know they were big. I don't think either. You know, the White Stripes obviously aren't together anymore. The Black Keys, for example, aren't nearly as big as they were at one point. Like they've reached their apex in a way of a lot of what we were talking about. Like a lot of rock music, I think, seemed to have, you know, it's reached its apex for now.
That's kind of exactly what Eric was talking about. When you get to the top, what do you do? Do you come right down, or do you stay up there for a while?
But a lot of times, it's not really up to you. You know?
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like you can do stuff and you just try to innovate or whatever and have staying power. Like, you know, I mean, Post Malone, there's people that have like clearly you just cement yourself and then you're up there. But you need to do some work once you have that debut album or you have that big hit that gets you up there. Like, what are you going to do with that? I agree. I like the Black Keys and White Stripes. They were really different and influential during that time of rock and roll because they were doing the blues and they were doing the, you know, the White Stripes was, you know, two people on stage. Right. It was just two. They didn't have it.
Yeah, it's Jack and Meg. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, they were unique. Did you ever listen to Matt and Kim?
I've never listened to Matt and Kim. We've had this conversation before because obviously when you put the two names together, it's somebody that we know.
Yeah.
Matt Kim.
Yeah, they were like the 2-person band or 21 Pilots. They were a 2-person band that was like, it was really cool. And they kind of had they got really, really big and then, you know, they tailed off and they missed a few years and you miss that. And all of a sudden they have stuff coming out, but they're not nearly as impactful. Like they were massive. They were just like, they were worldwide. And all of a sudden now they're just, I mean, I don't know, maybe I still listen to them, but.
Another good comment here. Some bands like Tool still garner a huge following, which is, you know, one thought. But I still don't see anyone else emerging after the Keys. Something kind of speaking to like the Tool thing and like the legacy rock band thing. Like legacy rock bands.
I'm glad Eric's back for the Tool conversation.
Back. Oh yeah, we're there we go. We're back with the schnauz.
Sometimes, so I let them out in the front of the building.
Yeah.
And they just like, they're smart and they're trained. They go out to the tree. And sometimes they pee together. And sometimes I think, here, sit down. I think sometimes they pee on each other and then I don't see it. And I think it might just happen, but it's fine. I'll just put them in bed with me. What could go wrong?
That's a tomorrow problem.
Come here.
Chris, what were we saying, Chris?
Oh, I was saying like, somebody in the comments made the point that like a band like Tool still garners a huge following and it kind of ties it, like Tool's a band obviously that's been doing it for 30 plus years at this point, and it's like the legacy rock band is like a relatively recent phenomenon in the sense that like you didn't have legacy rock bands like in the 80s because like, you know, touring rock really wasn't a thing, I would say, until the 60s. So it's like you have all of these bands that, you know, the beginning bands are just now having the opportunity to, you know, have been on the road for 40, 50 years, like the Stones, for example, and like Tool comes along, you know, in the 90s and they're still going on. So it's like this whole legacy rock thing. Like I'm interested to see like what the staying power of that as a concept will be as time goes forward. You know, and if like the young bands now, like if it's truly like a lifelong career, like it is for some of them, but sometimes, you know, it's just like, is the audience share going to be there and is the interest going to be there?
Yeah, I think like I can't picture, you know, modern baseball and the emo bands having a 50-year run. Like you need to have songs. Like there is definitely, I guess jam bands they fit that though because people come and see them. But like you have to have songs that are.
Eric's gonna leave the stream if he hears us talking about jam bands more.
Yeah. I guess be like Tool. Like I mean, can MJK like bring the intensity that people want to see? Like, is that even possible at an older age? Where like if you're just, you know, if we're rolling out, you know, Billy Joel to play piano. I mean, that's way more. You can do that at an older age. Like there's bands that don't age, like, you know, thrash metal. I mean, I guess people are still doing it, but it's, I think it's just genre. It's kind of genre dependent if they can be a legacy act or not, right?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely types of music that are undoubtedly a lot more difficult to pull off the older that you get, and like I think a lot of the themes for different songs and whole albums can be structured around the themes of youth and alienation and whatnot. And for the bands that hit it big and become legacy acts, like I have conflicting feelings about certain acts that continue to go out there and bang on that drum when they've had very long and successful careers. But then again, it's like I can't really be the judge of like whether that's a valid thing to do or not, because somewhere out there's somebody that their whole musical life has been building towards the moment of hearing a particular song or hearing a particular band at that time. So it's just like there's always something out there for everybody, and generally speaking, there's somebody that's going to appreciate it, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Eric, have you seen Tool?
Many, many times.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a jam band friend who loves jam bands, and they were like, Tool is like the jam band of thrash, or like metal. Like they were saying, like it has a similar vibe. I know it's different. I've never been to a Tool show, so I'm here to be enlightened. And I'm just saying that somebody had a comparison between the two, and they said the Tool. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I can totally see that, and I'm like really, really intrigued to go see Tool, even though like my knowledge is 2 albums, and like I'm not deep into it and like trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got a little. They really leaned into the mysterious aspect of themselves, and for a long time they didn't do press. They didn't have like good merch. They like didn't have any sort of thing, and they realized, I think, that mystery, it was sort of keeping them from like exposing themselves to whole new generations of fans. And in the last decade, even though they've only released 2 albums in maybe 12 years, like there's only been 2 albums and stuff, there's a mystery that they sort of Fish and jam bands it's not mystery. People don't go there because the mystery and who are they. Tool is a mystery, and I think Tool became this like a cult thing. It's still a cult, and it's all still tribal, like everything else. But I think the idea that it's a jam band just because they have long songs, there's nothing. They don't jam that much. Like there's nights where they have improvisation and there's jam sections, but it's not. They still play the song how the song's supposed to be played, and they don't mix things up. And people saying the Tool are jam band can suck it.
I'm not saying I never once said they were a jam band.
You're talking about the 5 and the feel. I get it.
Just saying they have these extended plays. If their live versions are, a little bit, I don't know, are they a little bit longer than the studio versions? Right? Do they do more?
Yeah, but I mean, like you'll see a band do that now. Like Grohl will do that, and he'll like get the audience involved. And
I think that's
jams aren't proprietary to jam bands.
Yeah. I'm not saying they are. I know. I think that. I've never been to a Tool show. And
you should go, because I do think it's a very strong, like, it's community, and there's a lot of diehards. But like, I've been at Deftones signings and Anthrax signings, like pre-show, like fan clubs where it's like hardcore. But Tool, there's a thing. It's also tied into Alex. What's his name? Who's the LSD guy who lives upstate? He's amazing. That guy's amazing. He's an artist, and all their artwork is sort of a collaboration between him and Adam Jones. And he did a lot of it's not Alex Ross. What the fuck's his name? Alex Ross, the cartoonist. Alex Jones is the nut. Alex, if someone could write Alex Gray. Thank you, Patrick.
With all the facts tonight.
Yeah, Alex Gray is like an incredible visual artist, and Tool, all those like rainbow. It's sort of like, and Alex Gray is a giant LSD. Like they go out there and like people like come and trip together, and all of their artwork in the way that like Eddie, really sort of sold the mystery of Iron Maiden, and like especially younger. It's like Tool, their videos that Adam Jones directed, like these like weird, like dark,
very
ethereal and like sort of scary videos that he made like with stop motion. Then sort of Alex Gray did a lot of their art and Alex Gray owes just as much to Tool as Tool owes to Alex Gray in pushing the lore. But again, the jam band thing, I think a lot of people like want to do psychedelics at a Tool show, and there's a visual element. But I think that jam bands have a fake communal thing of like trying to be nice to everyone. And I think metal and Tool and those cults and communities are more realistic about the kinds of people you meet who are hot and cold. And I think there's just an illusion that everyone's nice at jam band shows, and they're still fuckers. You know what I mean? And so, I don't agree with it. So
one of the big,
God, I hate jam bands, dude.
One of the gates, the gatekeeper side of jam bands, like that's exactly how I felt trying to get in. My buddy was like trying to tell me to listen to The Dead. And I was like, yeah, I'll listen to him and stuff. I was like, what about like Goose or, some of the other bands I listen to? It's like, no, they're not The Dead. And I was like, well, okay, so I want to get into it. And I'm trying to get into it through a band that is like current. And you guys are getting mad at me because it's not The Dead. And then I go to I start listening to The Dead, and you're not like content with what I'm listening to. They always one up you. And so there's definitely like a hierarchy and a weird sense to all of the jam bands it's exactly right. I had this conversation and like they just shut me down. I was like, this is exactly why I can't get into it, is because every time I try to, you guys say that I'm not getting into it the correct way. And I'm like, let me just find my own door. You know what I mean? And when I walk through that door, be happy that I'm there. That's and then like, so like I have a band and they're current and I can follow them. And I appreciate what they're doing like in the scene right now, because they have something that you can follow along. I can't follow The Dead anymore. Dead and Company, I guess, but like they're old, it's not like the bands that we're talking about when you listened to and saw these bands when you were younger, like you got to see their arc. And I think that's the most important thing. Like getting into legacy bands, like it sucks, right? It sucks because they're old. They've already lived through this. Like, I don't want to, they're working through different problems, but like, it's fun to get in on a band when they're young, because you get to be with them on their arc, no matter how big they get, no matter how big they were when you started. And like, I don't know.
The bands that you guys always ask me about, like Nirvana and like the bigger, like, the big grunge bands and stuff. And like,
right.
I didn't, their trajectory. I think Soundgarden is the only one, and Alice in Chains are the two that I saw. I didn't see Alice in Chains and Facelift, but I didn't see Soundgarden, Louder Than Love, or Flower, or anything like that. I saw them like, because we're MTV generation. I saw Skid Row. I saw Soundgarden on Bad Motorfinger opening for Skid Row. So I saw the passing of the torch from cock rock to, I've talked about this here, to grunge. And then I've seen Soundgarden every tour cycle. Alice in Chains, every tour cycle, starting from Dirt, every tour cycle. I saw Lane's last, the self-titled, and so you carry that connection with them all the way through it. So you feel much more invested, right. And then when you just see it now, that's what I was saying before. It's like someone to go see Alice in Chains now who gets obsessed with the back catalog. I don't know if they'd be disappointed, but I don't know. I've seen King's X a couple of times. That's not a band that King's X. Yeah, that's not a band that really stuck with me, but like, I know they're great and I know that they're super talented. But again, it comes down to the songs.
A part of the Rolodex.
There's enough songs.
Yeah. I think one thing too is like, and I run into it on the page all the time, is like so many people are hyper focused on like what they perceive as like the correct way to get into a certain band, or like the correct path you need to take. And then I think kind of tying back into like is it Olivia Rodrigo grunge thing? Like so many people are so concerned with like what to call a band, like what genre to
doesn't
place
matter anymore.
Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like
it doesn't matter now.
Like,
it used to matter for my generation. It was more important for marketing, for your friends. It was like, it was a big deal. To be fair, I agree with you, but labels are much more important now. Everyone is like, look, I'll show my age, but like, it's like pronouns. It's like,
I'd say, yeah,
I don't care. If you want me to call that's fine. I don't care about that, but like, I don't care.
It's like when Spotify told me that I listened to pumpkin spice grunge, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the? Just Why so many words to tell me that I listen to emo rock or something?
People like labels and they want that stuff now, but it's gotten so much bigger because everyone can see the world through their own algorithm and their own way of doing things. And again, what I think about jam bands and all that stuff, I actually think it's for rich people. I think it's for rich kids who just like want to like chill out and stuff. Everyone I know who's like a fish head and stuff, and Kate would be mad, but she's sleeping. But I just like they're spoiled kids. They're the kids that like just like want to. It's elevator music just to like do this and dance, and that's why everyone does drugs because
it's outro music. It's like when you have it when you're ending a football scene, they always play the jam bands.
100%. I want to go back and say something about Bush because Zach's asking about Bush.
Yeah.
So, and someone else mentioned that they listen to Razorblade Suitcase. I want everyone to go listen to the Institute record. It's one. I think I forget what it's called. I can't believe I don't remember the name of the album. I get so mad I don't remember. But it's one record, and it's basically a Gavin Rossdale solo record, but he called it something else. And Paige Hamilton of Helmet produced it, and it's the ultimate.
Distort Yourself.
It's called Institute, and it's something. Distort Yourself. And you guys will. That's like the Bush album that they always should. That I feel like they should have made. And Razorblade Suitcase. I think Bush actually gets a lot of shit because they were just selling Gavin. Right. And I never cared about them, and I still like. But they have like a lot of. That's the thing. They have a lot of songs. So we talk about jam bands and like people are like, oh, Bush isn't heavy and Bush is pretty boy. It's like they wrote great rock songs at the end of the day. Either you liked them or you didn't. But in the Institute record, I think
Drew loved Bush. I wish he was on.
Yeah.
Drew. Drew's pruning that little tree in the back. He's busy. But I would really pitch anyone who likes Bush to listen to the Institute Distort Yourself record. It's so good. And I would. Do you guys care about Bush or not really?
They don't really do it a ton for me. I saw them 2 years ago or something. Like whoever was doing like their promo stuff, like we did like a deal with them and they just like gave us tickets. So
that's great.
So I was able to see them, and like they've never really been my thing, but it was just like, you know, it was 5 minutes from my house, and I was like, it's very easy to do this. And like
I bet you're glad.
Yeah, I was so glad I went, and I was impressed by the energy that they had, and like the focus and the intent that they had behind performing. Because I mean, at this point, I mean, they're many years down the road now. Yeah. And like I don't think I'll ever like intentionally turn to, you know, anything that Bush has done and like, oh, today I want to listen to this, except it might change with Distort Yourself, because I do want to check that one out.
I'm telling you, When Animals Attack is the second song on there. It's heavy and it's still Gavin. I'm writing the name of the album in the comments for anyone who wants to check it out. But it is
When Animals Attack.
What was that?
You said When Animals Attack?
When Animals Attack is the second song. And it has like that Helmet guitar to it. And Gavin's voice. Gavin has like movie star voice, which is guys think it's tough and cool and girls want to suck it. You know what I mean? Like it's the most primal human shit. And I know why like people like you know, a great vocalist like that always. That's right about
Eric.
Bush. Yeah.
So yeah, funny story about Bush. My Drew, like I said, he's really into Bush.
Yeah.
And his dad, Bill, you know, and Drew's, I think his middle name is William, so he's also Bill. But his dad was really into Bush. And when we were in a band in high school in 8th grade, we had a talent show, and he was like, "You guys got to play Machine Head. You got to play Machine Head." And we did this cover.
That?
His dad was saying this, yeah. And he was going to come on and tell the story about one that I told two episodes ago. But he was like, "You got to play Machine Head." And we had played like we had a cover of Message in a Bottle. That was like our first song that we learned how to play. And it was pretty cool. We like made it pretty punky and like did a few different like genres within.
Oh yeah, your version was sick, bro.
Yes. So granted, we were 14 years old, Eric, but yes, we did a bunch of genres for Message in a Bottle, and it was really cool.
Bro, I'll send you my band playing Heart Shaped Box at homecoming, and people
actually let me see if I can.
People couldn't believe that it just came out. We already learned it.
Do you actually have footage of that?
No, I have audio.
Can I please listen to that? I need to hear this.
Not cool.
That's so sick.
It's my drums sound amazing now.
Oh yeah.
Oddly, my drums sound fucking incredible. Also,
Wait,
like,
Chris, share my screen.
Oh God, is this? We know this isn't going to get copyrighted.
Yeah.
look at your drums, you fucking idiot.
This was
UMG
this
is not
was
going to copyright this.
But
This
Chris,
was-
look how quickly Ethan had this ready to go.
this was my my church's old drum set that was like we forgot to come in.
Oh, the tempo sounds good.
Oh yeah, we keep it up. I think I'm like 14.
The tie is cool.
So we did this. We thought it would be really cool to do this black and white, like you were black on the top or white on the bottom, and you mix it up, and then you wear a tie. Everyone wore ties.
Oh yeah, that's great. I never thought about anything that I wore in high school on stage. I wish I did. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
zoom
sent
in.
you. I sent you stuff of me playing like when I'm.
Yeah,
a little
I've
bit
seen you
better
playing
than
in college, but
Well, I didn't play much in college, but it was still in high school probably.
well, whatever it was, like you're like it's like clearly a guy who should like be doing like Danny Carey, like a guy
Yeah.
who's an athlete, like playing like in music. It's hilarious. They're
So-
like, no, guys, but I am. That's
So
like-
we played. This was like our song, but Bill was really adamant that we play Machine Head. So we opened up with Glycerine. It was Drew and Sam. Oh yeah, what a fill right there. Hold on.
Yeah, look at the tops. You don't have a chance.
Oh yeah, I know. I didn't know what I was doing, dude. No, I had like, basically.
Oh, it really is your show, isn't it? This it's 1:38 a.m. and it's clearly just gone off the rails. You showing your high school band, like as
Hey.
opposed to someone else, like you
I'm about
making
to pull up your
decisions.
band. What about to pull up clips of you playing here? So anyway, what I was saying, we played Glycerine,
Yeah,
and then the curtains. We thought it'd be really cool. We're like, once he finished Glycerine, like open the curtains and the band will be behind him. We went right into Machine Head, and we didn't win, and they needed to like tally the votes, so they were like, "Do you have anything else to play?" So we played Message in a Bottle, and then the judges were like, "Man, if you guys would have played that, you would have won." But some a cappella group that sang My Girl or something won.
isn't Battle of the Bands so weird?
Dude, battle bands are awesome. I hope you meant like
Seminal
weird in a good way.
experience.
No, just the idea of like how it decides, like, oh, everyone always like, oh, we lost, and then that night we went and something else always happens. That's way more interesting than the actual like.
Wait, I'm gonna put my. So we won this. This was the battle of the bands.
Oh, there's more?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we
go
won
get a beer.
we won a battle of the
Guys,
bands.
if anyone is thinking about getting their dicks out, now's the time to do it.
So we
Here
won a
we
battle
go.
of the bands. Look at this. This is we got a free recording.
Cheesy,
There's an ad.
airy.
See, they're making money off of us. This is our album cover that
Is
we.
that
I
you in
don't
the
know.
tank top?
Yeah.
Hilarious, God.
So this was the one song that I wish we recorded more, but
Billy's right. Some have better high school memories than others.
Chris is like, this is a good time for me to go take a piss and change.
No, are you kidding? He's gonna go fucking like take a shit, shower, and shave, and then he'll be back.
This is the only song that I have recorded, which sucks because we played for a while. We got much better than this. This is probably my junior year, I think, in high school.
Did you wear your flip flops for the shoot on purpose? Did you shave
I-
your flip there? For the first-
I never wore shoes when I drummed. I was a barefoot drummer.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know
I
who else
think I
was that? Nico from Maiden.
What's that?
Nico from Maiden is a barefoot player.
Oh yeah. I mean, it makes.
Why is
I like.
everything you play so fucking like it's like sublime?
Yeah, we played a lot. We covered Santeria. We had a lot of like Drew. He was a big like Avenged Sevenfold. We jammed a lot of like Coheed.
Drew in this band?
Yep, this is Drew on the way left. He's the guitarist. Sam was our singer. He's like the big like emo punk guy. And Andy was
Yeah,
our
Millie
bassist.
likes your music. She's got pretty good beat rock vibes. Look how nice she is.
What's
Pepper.
that?
Holy shit, Pepper.
Which part?
Millie in the comments is saying that
She likes
pretty
it.
good beat track vibe. Pepper vibe. Yeah, Pepper is. I didn't know about Pepper till Kate told me about Pepper, and I know their drummer very well now because he did the show. It was introduced to me.
I've seen Pepper. They're really solid. They're older now.
Oh yeah. I think Chris finally realized that he had to get out of his fucking shirt.
We're back.
By the way, dinner just officially ended for Chris at 1:41 a.m. Changed. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, Pepper's a good. Did I ever send you guys? Now that I'm sitting here shitting on Ethan for showing his band. Did I ever show you guys like, my band that was like the biggest? The band is in before Pearl. Just
I don't think so.
Google. We should stay on this for 30 seconds before everyone leaves. But look up the Royal Fever, and it's at the Roxy. Yeah, that you'll find it there.
The Royal Family.
No,
Fever
just
Fever?
the Royal Fever, not Bieber Fever. What the fuck? That one right there,
Fever.
live at the Roxy.
All right, this is where I'm going to go to the bathroom. No.
I would.
This is you.
Yeah, this is my band. Like when I was like in my 30s. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, this song rips though. It's just I'm playing cowbell here. Yeah. This is like my rock band I was in.
You were in that stage where you thought cowbell made a song really good, huh?
No, these are like
I know that. I remember the stage.
This band started to do really well, and then our vocalist he's like a serious musician. He moved back, and I forget who he plays. But I mean, this band, we were starting to do well. I was like the only person there's some psychos in this band, but that guy Chris, I forget who he plays with. You get it. You don't need to hear anymore.
It sounds like the Darkness a little bit.
Yeah, but that's what we were into. It's like Wolf Mother, Darkness,
yeah,
like
Wolf Mother, yeah.
But when I tell you, but we had like some heat. There I go. Look at me. We had some heat in this band, and like we were like of course getting management, and then it just exploded. Like no one had any money. Look at that. That's why I have spinal surgery.
Oh shit.
Are you serious?
Yeah. That's a Vinnie Paul snare drum, by the way, 8x14. Millie wants to hear it. Millie, yeah, I'm
get higher. Oh yeah. See, everybody gets it on the vocals. Did you guys all record together?
Sure did. All right, guys, let's gather around the microphone. Get your dicks out.
Yep. Yeah, we did that for the Haze.
But this band, like, that's the thing. At the time, this music was like, I remember I was.
Oh, this is good.
I was working at the Showbiz Show with David Spade, and like, it's the thing where I would go to work and then I'd leave at 7, and I get to practice at 8, and I would leave at 12, and I did it 4 or 5 nights a week, and that's how I got Pearl, because people saw him. Scott Ian of Anthrax saw me playing, and he goes, oh, this band's not my thing, but I want the drummer to try out for Pearl, because he saw me playing at the Roxy, just like when they wanted to find a drummer, and that's that old Hollywood thing, like that really works. Look, MySpace, guys,
MySpace.com.
And then send me some boob pics on over at Friendster. Just I won't share them with anyone.
Yeah, Millie's requesting that the Royal Fever is on.
Yeah, then I'd have to talk to those guys. I'll send you the tracks. Gives a shit. But that's the thing of like the myth of like actually trying to break out and to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Pearl. Does Millie really know who Pearl is? That would be nice.
What is a Pearl? Would you have a video of you with them?
I don't know. I mean, no. Pearl is Meatloaf's daughter, who's married to Scott Ian from Anthrax, and that's like when I tour. We tour Velvet Revolver and Meatloaf, and that's what I was like, and that's why I got endorsements, and that's what I was. No, not Pearl Jam. Jesus Christ, Millie. Millie, God bless you.
Matt Cameron looks different.
Now I guess now I'd call me Fat Cameron because I'm fat. Matt, when I saw Matt at the shows, I can't ever get over like how great Matt is in such great shape. It's crazy.
Like when I see them play live, especially Cameron, I'm like I forget that he's what, 62, 63 or something.
Dude.
Like,
He looks great.
Yeah.
He's so lovely. He's such a great player. He's such a great host.
You uploaded this 18 years ago.
Is it really? I'm gonna kill myself.
ERX, you have 10 subscribers.
Oh shit! I don't
it's
even.
about to have a lot
How many
more.
The Fever live at the Roxy in Hollywood, California, 10/14/06. Check out this video, The Fever, off their upcoming debut EP due in January 07.
Adam Scher. I remember all those guys. My buddy Simon, the guy who came and shot it. He's my best friend from
No
Chicago.
comments.
He's got 3 kids, and he came in. He came in to shoot the video for me. Yes,
amazing.
Pearl a Day. That's correct. Someone knows.
We've got some connoisseurs in the chat here. They know more than I do.
Millie's like, "Fuck, Eric played for Pearl Jam," and LW's like, "I know."
I'm going to give you a sub.
What? Oh, thanks,
Got a
brother.
thumb up.
Thank you, man.
That's
It's about
pretty
time I
cool.
monetized this. Look, there's 1,400 views.
Look, we're going to go Inception.
God, it was so brutal. Dude, we have to like sell tickets for shows. Those are the worst days. It was
Oh,
fun,
man.
but it was so brutal. But me and the guitar player did date twins, which was fun.
Really?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was a moron.
Hey, we all have to go through the moron era. Some of us are still in it. There was a question earlier. I'm interested to get your opinion, Eric, on the band Hum. Were you into them at all back in the day?
I don't feel like I know the song. What's the
Stars, right?
Stars? That's the song. That's exactly correct. Of
You'd
course.
prefer an astronaut or something.
You fuck yeah. That's the name of the record.
Yes.
I know Shift is the band that I always think about.
Oh, okay.
Shift with Samantha Maloney, who played Motley Crue and Eagles of Death Metal.
Yeah, for some reason, Hum is one of those bands that whenever we post about them, everybody comes out of the woodwork to say how much they love them or how much bigger they thought they should be. But once again, just kind of speaks to that, like, not saying it pejoratively, but like saturation back then. There were so many bands, so much to see.
So many bands. Like Belly. There's a lot of like 90s alt bands. I really like Belly. I tried to tell you guys about Pond. I love that band.
Drew just saw Pond.
Sub pop band, yeah.
Drew just saw Pond in Philly. Like,
I think
a couple weeks.
it's got to be a different pond, right?
Hi, Anita. Look at all these people. A lot of people coming in from Instagram. I feel like that's nice.
So this is the time where you talk about bands that when you're in the scene and you go to music and you see openers, like me and Chris talk about, like you got to see your openers because that just it informs you on the scene. And like these bands that you can like Belly, or I don't know much about them, but they probably were pretty solid or pretty, had a like nice regional following. And like I feel, I know bands that are kind of going on now that I wouldn't know if I was like 10 years from now. Like it's impossible to, like Buffalo Tom or something. Like there's bands that it's really hard to get into because they had their day, they had their name or their day in the sun, but like if you weren't there for it, it's really hard to like capture what they were to the scene. Like these guys, like Hum was really important, but like I just look back and you see the few highlights and it's really hard to like, understand them.
Here's the thing: a band like Hum was important to their local scene.
Yeah.
Like
Which
we're at
is
a
really
state college in
important.
Pennsylvania.
The local scene is really important for music, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, of course. But like, look at these guys. Like, they have no. What the fuck is going on out there? New York is a fucking disaster. It's a fucking disaster. It's 2:00 in the morning. It's a fucking truck. It's just like
City that never sleeps, baby.
you hear it? It's literally insane.
I can't hear it over the sweet sounds of Hum.
I want to jump out the window and fucking throw a pipe bomb in someone's face.
Put the schnauzers on him and teach him a lesson.
Dude, those guys, I dropped them both in bed. They were like, "Thanks, see you tomorrow."
Like that's it. They've got a big day tomorrow.
But you see how it's interesting when we were watching Hum, and this is like for people who are talking about like Hum, all of them they didn't have stage clothes. They were just themselves.
Yeah.
I like that though, right?
Yeah, me too. But it really influenced like it's really like Cobain.
If Smashing Pumpkins.
Remember, everyone in Seattle was like basically doing that. So even Soundgarden, like they didn't Cornell like a little bit, but like they didn't really think about it. They were who they were. And that's what made all that scene so cool. And people, because glam rock, everyone was wearing like sequins and like putting on lipstick and doing all this stuff and had stage clothes. It was so, and these guys just went and they were themselves, like Breeders, all the 90s alt stuff. Like, go get like if you've ever listened to the No Alternative CD, which is a great compilation of all the bands that like you guys are talking about right now. Like, there's big bands in there and stuff, but Buffalo Tom is on there. Paul Westerberg is on there. There's lots of, that's a great insight to that era of bands who were just like themselves, but like Sub Pop, and a lot of it I still think came out of
it's gonna get us copyrighted, Ethan.
Is someone actually monitoring this, or what happens?
No, so YouTube just has like an active system that's always scanning. It's funny because like this is my day job.
Yeah,
I work for a company that does this type of stuff. So like the owners of different content, like they have reference files that they upload, and YouTube just always is constantly scanning the world against those files.
Please look up No Alternative soundtrack. I want to show you guys the set list and see if anyone here cares, who any of the people watching. Look at Steph going. Look how big.
Look at that.
Yeah,
it was Joe C with Kid Rock, the little guy.
Oh yeah, the midget. Oh, we can't say midget. Dwarf. What do we say? Little person. Fuck.
Well, at Woodstock '99, Joe C wore a shirt that said, "quote I'm not a fucking midget."
Oh so yeah,
I guess he's not a fucking midget.
Whatever. I don't know what to say anymore.
Failure. Hell yeah.
The Pork Guys. Is this it?
I don't know what this is. But No Alternative. No, it's no. That's not what it is. No, go back.
It's already over.
That's that one. It's above with the girl with the bullseye.
Oh, above,
bro.
This is just.
But like you can see the titles for what
Pumpkins are on it. This version of Glynis is live. It's so good.
This one, you want to listen to Glynis? Okay.
No, we don't have to listen to it. I think it's more just like looking at like the soundtrack.
Yeah, I got you.
But I mean, if you're and Hum's not on it, but like it really got this. I think Soul Asylum's even on this. Like it really got this era of and I love it. Like like when they put out soundtracks like this with like just different bands and they just nail it. This used to be big business.
Matthew Sweet, Buffalo Tom, Soul Asylum, Urge Overkill, American Music Club, Guru Dolls, Pavement, Bob Mold, Soundgarden's on here.
Yeah,
Show Me
is on. You know that song?
I don't even think I do.
Show Me is killer.
No kidding. I like it's stuff like this that is Breeders are on here too.
Yeah, Mike. What's the Breeders is great. That Breeders track is great. Mike, what's the Nirvana track called? You wrote. I forget what it's called on there.
Verse, chorus, verse.
Oh, verse, chorus, verse, which is the end on the extended version of Nevermind, or the regular version of Nevermind. If you play the CD, or it just has it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
They put that on here. That's right.
It's stuff like this that's so fascinating because, like, kind of tied into this, like, I'll always find myself going down rabbit holes of just like old performances from like 120 minutes on MTV, and like I fucking love all of the the late night spots of the bands that played on like Leno or Conan or Letterman or all those shows, and you could tell like, and with stuff like that, like how much, because everybody always lauds Letterman and Conan, I think in particular, for like having such great musical guests.
That's what I mean.
Did they have sway on that, or like was that just like the producers? I mean, you would probably obviously
depends on the show. Depends on the show. I mean, the best ones, they leave it. The best versions of those have the best bookers, and the bookers, if they're allowed to do their job, book like a great music. Like I never would be a music booker.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this guy with the fucking horn. It's like a truck. If I was a music booker, I'd be terrible at it. And I remember like, oh, I can't be a music booker. I'm too heavy into rock and metal. And
sure.
I don't have I don't love all music, and also like class. I like the things I like we're not going to book classical. We're not going to book a Mozart tribute, things that I like. But I think it's interesting that people look back at these shows. Like Letterman, was smart enough to know that Pearl Jam was a thing, and he had Eddie Vedder. Like Eddie Vedder used to do a bit on Letterman. He would come in and sing, then he would leave, just go out the side doors. Like
the bit with Black was hilarious because
so funny.
David had that running gag with like the and then he came out one time with the mic in his pocket.
Oh yeah, and he pulls out the mic, dude. And Eddie, you can see how nervous Eddie is. So funny.
Yeah. Well, Ed told a story once, and he said that he was like super, super stoned that night, which I'm sure was not a rare occurrence for him at the time.
No.
And he just or he was like watching him late night, and like they kept talking about him when he was.
Vedder's great. I told you I met him. Matt introduced me to him at the Garden Show.
Yes, and that's the first time you met him. Yeah.
Yes, and he gave me a lighter. It's because I work for Seth. He goes, "Oh, I love Seth. It's very nice." But he gave me a lighter and some picks. But he gave me. Matt said something. He goes, "Eddie likes to make sure everyone gets time." And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so nice. That takes so much energy." And he gave me time, and he asked questions. And I saw him the next time. He remembered me. He's like, "Oh, where's Kate?" I'm like, just like that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm around this." Like,
well, especially like so with someone in his position, like. How many decades worth of interactions like that he's had. And like, I always think about it too, where it's like, I've not had FaceTime with people like that. And like all the age old, like, how many times someone has come up to them and been like, "Oh my God, like your music is so inspiring to me. Like, thank you for everything that you've done." And it's just like the fact that you could still be gracious about that all these years later.
I just don't get it. I feel very lucky to like have found a way, like if I would have kept playing drums and to be around that stuff, it's always different. Like when you're an actual player, as opposed to like when you're someone who was like, I provided opportunity for players. So that's a nicer thing as opposed to I want something from these guys.
Sure.
And what I wanted is just like, I just wanted to be at the shows, and I would have been at like, I'd say half the shows that I go to and was a guest at and would have gladly paid. So it doesn't matter, but to be around it and to be a fly on the wall is always lovely. Yeah. What is the Pumpkins? Yeah. That Glynis track on No Alternative will fucking change your life.
It was good.
And by the way, someone wrote, that guy wrote PJ's Pearl Jam. Someone wrote Breeders Rule. Wish they would get back together. They've been together for a while. What's her name? Kim has a solo record that just came out.
Oh, does she?
Kim Deal, yeah, you should check it out. I just downloaded it. She's playing New York in March, but Breeders are together. Breeders are together. They're in the original lineup too. It's Josephine, Jim, Kim, and Kelly.
There's some
but that Breeders record.
Confusion in the chat if you were referring to PJ, Matt.
Yes, the Breeders all still tour together. They toured a lot with Olivia Rodrigo, and then Kim had to do this solo record, I guess. But they are still together, and it's original lineup. For a while, they weren't. This guy Jose Medelis played drums. They had when they did what's the story? Mountain Battles. They did a couple records without Jim, and then they got the original lineup together, and it's still Kim, Kelly, Jim, and Josephine. Still the original lineup, and yes, they definitely tour. Yeah, her record is I listened to it once. I don't remember because I was busy. Like, yeah, look at these guys. I saw the Breeders play.
I love this old video.
Man, and I remember going to see them, and I just thought it's the coolest fucking thing.
Look at that.
How cool they were.
Oh yeah.
How badass.
That's fucking sweet.
Last Splash is a perfect record. I love Safari. I love Pod. Those records to me. Safari is an EP, and so is Pod is a full length. But man, it's good.
Kim Deal's voice is butter for the soul. Couldn't agree more.
That was always the best stuff in the YouTube comments.
This song took me back to a place I'd never been, but will always miss.
Well, that's you guys.
The wordsmiths.
That's you guys.
It is. This is, which part?
That quote. It's a place that I've never been, but will always miss. That's you guys.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, we
You guys.
were too
It's
late, but
100% you guys. Yeah, but I mean, it's not even a question of late. It's a question of your fucking.
I can still remember going to the record store to grab the CD the day after it came out. Good times. The song blew me away. Still does. That's why
always the fun thing.
That's why we do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever like there's an album anniversary, it's always incredible to hear the stories. The people remember so vividly, the first time that they picked up a record that changed them. And we'll always post like, hey, like, and we'll be like, do you remember the first time you heard this? And someone would be like, yeah, I was at like this record store standing outside, like with these friends that like I haven't talked to in so long, but I remember, these were the first songs that I listened to, and this is the way that I felt. It's so cool to be a part of these.
It's amazing.
These two comments, this song and Four Winds by Bright Eyes bring me to a specific place in my life. We just heard 2 lines from the song at the end of the episode of Poker Face, and it was a faint memory of my time long ago listening to the Breeders. Missed that sound. I got to pull the CD out of storage. This is like, it's beautiful stuff. I mean, it's exactly how I'm connected to songs from 10 years ago that honestly I didn't understand. Like when you're 20 years old, you don't have like the amount of life to be able to reflect on stuff like that.
That horn is still going, Eric?
Say again?
That horn is still going outside, huh?
No, it's oh no, that's my pinball machine just like kicks.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy shit.
It does like it's a fan, I think, that keeps it cool. Like,
okay. I gotcha.
Oh yeah, Breeders. No, dude, that was a fucking horn. That was like a real truck horn. It was like really intense.
Happiness is a warm gun.
That's a Beatles cover.
It's a Beatles cover, yeah. Fucking Beatles.
Double Trouble. That's a bootleg. I think that's a bootleg live record. It's definitely a live bootleg record. I worked in a record store in high school. I worked at 2 record stores. The second one, and college. I worked at record stores from freshman year all through college. But the second one I worked at, when people started to get bootleg CDs and put them on CDs and charge like $25, $35, and we would like get these illegal bootlegs and we were selling them. It's crazy. Stuff like that, where like they made their own art. People would buy them all the time.
Well, then there was like the scene of people who get bootlegs and the trading and everything. And it's always interesting just over the years, like trawling through postings of like random stuff from Pearl Jam and live stuff. And people are like, oh, thanks for posting this. Like I haven't heard this since I got a bootleg tape from somebody back in '93. It's just
that's absolutely insane.
It's not like it is now. I mean, that's the thing. It's such a catch-22 now, where like we have everything at our fingertips, but it's just not. I don't think it's as organic of an experience.
It's just not. It's the instant gratification of it all. And that part, like, dude, the waiting in line, even like for me, like the waiting in line for tickets, that only be able to get the merch like at the show or like through the back of a magazine, like. Mm-hmm. Now you can have anything all the time, and it's like it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah. Do you have any feelings about Silverchair? Julio S is a new member of the stream here and wants to know what we think about Silverchair. I think
there's a couple of bangers in that first record. I also, what's that song they put out? Was it Straight Lines? When they did like they got like real slick and cool, and it was the neon. Was it Neon Ballroom?
Yeah. Yep.
Very water is very hard to drink.
Remember
Silverchair? Like they were young, super inspired by Nirvana. They were babies, and they lived on the other side of the globe in Australia. Like when it came out, it didn't matter to me, but like there's some good songs there for sure. Like that guy Daniel Johns can write songs, but like there's a couple of bangers on that. Yeah, 16. That's right. There's a couple of fucking bangers in that first record that are heavy.
When was their first record? Was it 94?
Frog Stomp, 94? 95.
95. Yeah, 95. That sounds right. Yeah. Other side of the globe, right? Nowadays, if an Australian band came out with something, I mean, it's just going to be way more accessible, and you're going to be able to follow them a lot easier. Like, what was it like having an Australian band seem to like insert themselves into the grunge era or sorry, the grunge scene from so far away?
That's a great question. And it's
like, how?
If it just, you, first of all,
just radio.
What's so interesting about it is you realize the reach. That's what I'm talking about. The reach of a band like Nirvana, because it was a zeitgeist moment for the world, pop culture moment for the world, that like it spread. And then there are these young kids who are really good musicians who are really influenced by Nirvana and the grunge scene, who happen to be able to write half decent songs, who maybe happen to know someone, and they had a producer to tune those songs to sound good. And then they were good looking and interesting and enough for a label to say, we can do that. Like, and then signs them, and then they're on MTV. It's like, it did, all that stuff is great coincidence, but at the end of the day, there was something about them where I'm like, it didn't feel as genuine enough to me. It didn't resonate with me. So to me, it didn't stick because there was something about it. And it wasn't even like a diss on them, or I was just like, oh, it's kind of posery. But like, there's so many bands that were like that. It was like Seven Mary 3. There was what was that song?
Cumbersome. It got us.
Cumbersome. Yeah.
Dark New. Was it Dark? Not Dark New Day. That's
Days of the New.
Days of the New. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
Travis Meeks.
Yes, and that stuff all felt just like it was just derivative. And even if you didn't know the story of the band or where it came from, once you found out, it didn't help it. It just felt there was something about it, and it's just like you were like, oh, you didn't know it, but at the time, it's like, oh, the saturation point's coming, and it's time for a change. And then therefore, like new metal, like Metallica's, like, do we cut our hair? There was so much upheaval because it was all about what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Yeah.
And now there isn't a what's the next thing anymore. We've been on a steady diet of like shitty fucking pop music and beats and rap, and no disrespect to the genres and like the purists in the genres, but I can't get over it. Like, look, like here's a fucking maybe an unpopular opinion. That Charlie XCX record fucking slaps.
I haven't taken the time to listen to it in full.
Right.
And like, I've totally missed the boat on it. But like the fact that like you're here saying that it slaps tells me that I immediately need to do it.
It's great. It's heavy. It's hard house. Kate's my litmus to this thing. So she's like, she really connects to it in from a female perspective, and it's very honest apparently. And I just know that it's heavy. There's a heaviness there, and it's just her. And when she performs, like her in a track, and there's something about it that like actually works. It's magnetic. Yeah. It's not like, oh, they're just playing a new track. This sucks. Like when I actually like just like let it happen, I'm like, oh, I'm still connecting with this. It's cool. So that Olivia Rodrigo, there's a couple of things that I actually think like I'm not talking about the live show or as much as I'm talking about there's production here. I don't care how many songwriters wrote it or if she wrote it all, but I mean, Charlie XCX we had her on late night years ago. We were the first late night show to have her on. It was years ago, like 2015. Yeah. She's put the time in, like these really been around. So I know Ethan's sort of like, yeah, I know, I get it. But like it's not Sabrina Carpenter. Like, who cares? Like, to me, that doesn't resonate as real or it feels like a little contrived or like manufactured, I think is the better word. But there is, first of all, I mean, there's just, it's heavy. Try it.
Yeah, I definitely need to. It kind of reminds me of like that quote or that adage that it's like all overnight successes take years, where it's just like,
you guys thought Turnstile was like a new band, and
yeah,
go back and listen to the record before Glow On. It's fucking hardcore. Like, guitars are ripping. It's killer. Been around. They were fucking slumming it, but you know why that band made it? Determination, and they had a local Baltimore scene that showed up at every show that like was on stage with them. I think I told you, like, I'm telling you, Glow On is a perfect record.
I
definitely record. Metalheads agree.
Turnstile definitely has been in the algorithm lately for a lot of things. Is it just did they release something new, or are they just like
they're working on a new record? It'll be out by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that last record that they did, They recorded it, knocked out all the recording of the instruments, and then I think they spent 6 months on post-production.
Wow.
Dialing the songs, getting them there. I'm telling you, sit with that record and let it wash over you. It's a killer. It's a killer.
Okay.
That and that, I mean, like I know it, and I said know their management and stuff, and to be around it. But as a, I will just say that watching them, they're all very close, and they come from a real scene. And the other thing to watch with them is they released an EP, a video EP that was like basically like an art project that takes 3 of their songs out of order from the album, and that's how I started getting into it. And
Really?
Piece, it works. It's on YouTube. It's
Is it this?
It is most definitely
dude,
not.
this is the worst.
This is
Look at Wes.
about a girl
Could you imagine?
full of mud.
Look at the drummer playing the fucking bongo. It's gonna bum out.
Yeah, this is tough.
What's wrong with his mouth?
This has to be a meme, right? I mean, like this is.
I don't know, man.
He was not well. I think that guy's not well, right?
There's no chance.
Look at him.
He's just trying to be like Kurt. I get it.
He's channeling it.
Dude, you know what's good is Post Malone doing all that Nirvana stuff is killer.
Oh, that live stream that he did during COVID was
awesome.
it with Travis Barker, right?
It was awesome.
Yeah,
You ever
that
see
thing
it?
was
It's awesome.
so fucking cool. He did that, and then he did a cover of Them Bones. It might have been on Howard Stern.
I just saw that. Yeah.
I forget who it was, but like that's the thing. Like some of these guys, like they have chops with a bunch of shit.
Yeah, no, he's super talented. I didn't give a shit about him until he did that. And then he did Day Drinking with us, but
Mm-hmm.
the Nirvana thing was amazing.
It's funny with him. Like one of the first things, like one of his first digital footprints is
Look
like
up
his
that
own.
turnstile thing. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, Chris.
Oh no, you're good. One of Post Malone's like first like digital footprints was like he did an acoustic cover back before he ever got famous of like Bob Dylan's "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right." Like it's on like his own YouTube channel. Like that dude's got some good range.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Super, super talented. Matt's done it. Matt did it 2 or 3 times and did it remotely. Sean Kinney did it. I was going to get Dave Evers. I never know how to say his last name. Everzies to do it. But see, here's the thing. Yeah, everyone cares about Drumeo and like.
Have you watched this video?
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about like trickery and like stuff.
Was it hard to get buy-in from people to come and do the show?
Original in the beginning? Oh yeah.
Yeah, just because it hadn't been a proven concept for that.
Yeah, everyone's like, "What is it? How much? What do I have to do?" And I had to figure out. Like, I figured out the entire with the band. I mean, to be fair, it was my system of like the cues and figuring it out. But when Abe Laboriel Jr. did it from McCartney's band, he was singing and stuff. It was like, oh man, this is amazing. Chad Smith was early days. John Theodore, early days. This is one of the greatest videos of all time. Yeah. You know why this video is so great? If anyone can tell me, any drummers in the comments, the insane move that he pulls here.
It's the double bass.
No.
Dude, Danny.
How much time is left on this video? Let me see.
5 minutes. What do you think it is?
Go to like 4:30. Oh no! Okay, no, go back. It'll probably happen sooner than because it's not the full.
It's right here. Yeah.
Yeah. You can leave it. You can. I don't know exactly where it is, but he does the. Oh yeah, no, I know exactly where it is here. Boo! Oh no. I think it's the end here. Don't. So yeah, look at that.
What the fuck?
Don't worry about it. But if you back up, I don't know if it's in this song. If there's another song, he does a little nod and he does a grab. He looks down to make sure it's there.
Oh.
He picks up a stick, he tucks it in, grabs the gong beater, hits the gong,
Right
drops
here?
the gong, grabs the stick. Oh yeah, go back.
It's swinging.
See him look right there? Go back a little bit more and see it again. Now let it play. See, he looks
There?
for it, make sure it's there. Now watch. You just want to tucks the stick,
Holy shit!
drops it back. Watch it again. Pull
What
it back.
the hell?
Watch it again. Watch this. He checks down. Where is it? Got it. Boink. Doink.
Jesus
So cool.
Christ!
I remember watching this over and over again. I was like, holy shit. He's like, it's there. It's honestly not that crazy. It's just like
Right.
when I first saw it happening, it's very doable, but like he has it angled. He knows exactly what he's doing. And
Dude, he is
I love that.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
so happy.
we gotta be careful we don't get copyrighted. Chris was giving me the
So
nod.
even is it the sound or is it just the video too?
Sometimes it's both, but usually the sound is the killer.
Yeah.
I hate this shit. 10 times Daddy Kern was the best drummer on earth. The genius of Daddy. I mean, it's nice. I think a lot of drummers do this stuff because I think it's ego boost.
So you've had John Theodore on a few times, you said?
Oh yeah, but John's on the show a bunch. 6 times, I think 6 weeks. It's so
Yeah,
funny. I was telling him
He played the Taylor Hawkins tribute show. He was there for
Yeah.
a few songs.
it's so funny. I told him, I go, I don't know anything about Mars Volta. Nothing. You know, that's like
I don't
a
either.
name.
Well, he also played with wait, who am I thinking of? Wait, who is the I don't even want to say it. I'll be embarrassed.
That's all right. It's Ethan. It's 2:23 in the morning. There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
It's time for me to go to bed, by the way. But
Yeah, I can't believe you're sticking up for this.
no,
long.
I mean, dude, I'm going to shoot archery tomorrow. Kate got me an archery class for my birthday because I was
that's sick.
back in the day. I was a certified archery instructor.
You're still doing the birthday thing?
Wait, you were a certified archery instructor?
Yep.
What can't you do,
What?
Eric Lieberman?
Wait, Chris, Eric, I will
weird.
that's bizarre. I will say, so we are officially 191 minutes into this.
Oh yeah, it's time. It's enough. Meanwhile, the commenting. How many people are still watching? No.
We've
Same
got
amount.
we've got about 20 on Instagram Live, and we're down to 8 over here.
Yeah, 8. Everyone's out.
Yeah,
Well,
people are-
I'll wrap it up, but let me just say congratulations to you guys. I love that we got this, that we spent this together. We have to figure out in the next proper episode that we want to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whenever you
absolutely.
guys want to have me, we'll figure out what that subject is and we'll go deep. A lot of questions about like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that would probably
the stuff-
require a little bit of research.
Yeah, I would think
Research
so.
for me.
It's all
But,
dependent. Yeah, exactly. Everybody, there's definitely some rabbit holes we could go down.
You know we should do. You know we should definitely do when the ballots come out for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and like the fan vote. We should unpack that.
That's
That's a good idea. I like
that's
that.
actually yeah.
We should unpack that. Oh my, this is hilarious. We should unpack that and oh my, I love this. We should unpack that. And
This is in the last 10 minutes. If you want to stick around and watch highlights, if you want to watch old sports highlights, we're about to get into it.
No, maybe everyone just hung up.
Everyone's like, "Who the hell?"
Yeah,
is
no, the
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. I think a lot of people want to know about it, and but that's the thing. You could go through that Post Malone. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, there's so much stuff that we could do to actually go through, and I think the probably reason I don't have a podcast anymore, I never did one, is because you can't clear anything and you can't like let things play. That's why. I mean,
Such a pain in the ass.
it's a pain in the ass, and
It
everyone.
is.
And the reality is, some things should be by the
Reused.
time only until we're like 80 or 90 will things go into the what happens to them. I forget what. I'm so tired when it gets into the it becomes public domain.
Oh yes.
All the songs we love become public domain. Then we can do it.
Oh yeah.
And then we can
Just
play
have to hold
things up
out
and decide
until
it.
then.
How long is that?
It's like 75, something 100 years.
Yeah, I think it's like 75 or
That's a long time.
I think it's 75.
yeah.
We're not
'cause
gonna
there was-
make it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make it, boys.
No, man, I might
By
not
the
even
way,
make it to
ain't
next
nobody
week.
gonna make it.
Yeah, no. Kiss that goodbye.
See you guys at the inauguration.
Yeah,
Yeah, Eric.
seriously.
Those are great. Wait, Doug.
Is Doug still here?
Yeah, he just texted me. He said copyright again. Are you deducting copyright time from your 200 minutes? There's no way this is copyrighted, right?
Probably.
I removed it.
Gives a fuck.
Fuck him.
So how does it turn? How does it
Unreal.
get back? How does it go back?
It just does.
Yeah, it's really stupid. Like it detects if there's like a copyright match, and like based off of the policy of whoever that's matching to, they can choose to automatically block it. And then like when the live stream stops live streaming copyrighted stuff, it goes live again. So
Very smart.
I guess we got put in the doghouse because of Barry Bonds.
I'm
trying to sign. They kept him out of the Hall of Fame. Now they're trying to keep him out of the Grunge Bible live
Drugs,
stream.
bro.
like why is that copyrighted? Like, all right,
Dude,
music,
MLB Advanced Media,
music,
man.
Music, I understand.
Well, man, a lot of people. I mean, like the reality is, it's annoying. It's corporations, but a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Goes
That was the big part
This
of
is
our
my bread
podcast.
and butter, Ethan.
That was the big part of our podcast.
Oh, trust me, I know all the tricks to get around it, so we can plan for it next time.
I'm gonna take this last sip of delicious water.
You drink water out of a mug.
Well, I wanted to drink water, and I want to have your fucking mug.
The Grunge
Well, I thought it
Bible
would be
mug.
tea or something.
No, you would be, but
Into the blood again.
into the plug
Eric,
again.
Eric,
Into the
you are
plug
a-
again.
You are a serious legend. Like, I knew that you were going to pop in. I honestly thought for like 30 minutes. The fact that you are still here is just
Like this
absolute-
is more prolific than the Michael Jordan flu game.
Like we threw out all the notes that we had. Like people, I don't know if we were going to bring on some Patreon people, but like we're
Do
just,
they want to come in? That's the thing. No one. I mean, are people asking to come in? Oh, it's.
at this point, yeah, I mean, we're
But by the way, you should also do like a Patreon show for these guys. Just do like a Patreon week.
yes.
Yeah, we should do that.
And honestly, they
Friday.
want to see you, so we could do it. We could do it.
Yeah, they don't give a
Come on,
shit
let's
about
do
us.
it.
I mean, yeah, Doug is texting me. We definitely, we're back. Doug, we're back.
Yeah, we're back online.
We're definitely going to do this. I mean, so this is our first time doing a live stream, surprisingly. And I think that it makes a lot of sense for us to move forward in doing
Should do
this.
another one.
Yeah, I think doing this a little bit more, it'll help the YouTube a little bit, but like, I think, we can do it for the Patreon and we can get people in this app. StreamYard has worked really well, other than, it's YouTube blocking the videos and stuff. We're back, but
You can't do that. It's ridiculous. I mean, I think
we can't even watch Barry Bonds highlight films. Like, what the heck?
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Jesus Christ, guys, get your genres straight.
We got 3.5 minutes. Are you going to stick around for 3.5 minutes, Eric? Can you do it?
For what?
200 minutes.
Oh, you wanted 200 minutes? Oh, okay.
We got
That's
3.5 minutes. Wait, so who's in the live stream still? We got
Nobody.
watching now. We need a very specific question, or we need something to get us through. So if you're
I agree.
watching, we're watching the comments. First one to comment, like direct us. We got 2 minutes before we got to
So
we'll
funny.
count. It's like the new year.
I would have watched that Post Malone Nirvana thing, and
I knew that was going to be blocked if we put that up.
yeah, but I would have watched that down and commented on all the tracks, and be so interesting to all right, let's take a little listen. And you listen, you put up the volume, and then you bring it back down, comment on it. I mean, that's the thing. It's Mystery Science Theater and all the shows like that.
Yeah,
We try to get comment on it, but
Chris, how does Rick Beato do it?
He's probably there's this thing called the allow list, which you can get on, and if you're well connected or if you're a legitimate entity, which means you're exempted from getting matched and blocked and
The
claimed.
allow list.
Yeah, he's definitely allow listed. We're not.
Rick, who's that? Rick Beato?
Yeah.
Rick Beato, yeah.
Oh, Beato. Sorry. Yeah, that one he did with Jimmy Chamberlain. I don't know. I try to listen to all that stuff like Zane Lowe, and I try to listen to all those guys. I don't give a fuck.
I'd rather just listen to the music myself, to be honest. I don't listen to that.
Yeah, I appreciate. Again, I don't shit on anyone who's found a niche and really carved in, doubled down. I just for me, it's I just don't feel like the conversation. I feel like Rick Beato is he was a music nerd, and that's fine. that Zane Lowe. I tried to listen to Zane Lowe stuff today.
Yeah.
It just felt so disingenuous, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're a rocker, so like you have that connection to the music that like,
Yeah, bro.
yeah, like you're a rocker, and I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, I know exactly what to the music nerds and the way they talk about music. Like, there's a feeling side to it that you just can't explain. It's just like, I mean, it's just like sports. Like when you have coaches that never played and they're like coaching it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you know, they don't know what it takes and what it feels like to be back there, to be the man in the arena.
They just don't. They're fucking morons. Wait, what's up? Brent Hackman wants to know how are you doing?
That is the very specific question that we can close.
That's
it
I
down
can,
with.
yeah.
Brent,
Well,
that's
we
the
have
greatest question of the night because the answer is overdue. That's how
50. We have 45 seconds left, and we're gonna officially hit 200 minutes. Chris missed the first 20 minutes. We may need to do some more.
I have to do overtime on my own.
Doug asked if the copyrighted times so we have to make up for that time. It's like borrowed time in soccer.
Yeah, the extra time will
Cake versus President of the United States of America. Mike, come on, dude. Guys, Mike is also tired.
Yeah,
I think
we're all tired.
President of the United States.
Plus, Mike has been here the entire time.
Plus,
as far as I know, he's been here the entire time, and so is
Mike.
Doug.
God bless, but also like, come on, dude. Cake.
All right, ready? 5, 4,
200
3,
guys.
2.
Love you.
Eric, love you,
thank
man.
you so much for
legend.
everything you've done for us. We're gonna get you back on as soon as you want. I mean, you know, we're you know, scheduling them as we go, so whenever you want. And we're tired now, so it could be anytime. But we'll talk to you soon.
Anytime. All right, boys. Love you. Congrats. Here's the 200 more.
Rock and roll, Eric.
That's exactly right. Absolute legend.
Kind regards. You guys get the final word. I'm out. Good night, everyone. Thanks for all these wonderful questions. And
good night, Eric.
I still favorite cake versus. I can't get over cake. I gotta go. This is crazy.
That is the perfect way to send Eric off.
Yeah,
talking about cake.
Can we just,
now that he's gone, like, I mean, Chris and I were texting back and forth. I don't know how Eric lasted 3 hours and 20 minutes.
So
he was here longer than you were.
No, he was here. No, he was almost as long as me. So, dude, D-Boat is in the chat late night. He's a Massachusetts guy, so he's just popping in here at 2:30 in the morning.
Congrats on 200, boys. That's what I'm talking about.
D-Boat, yeah, dude, Dylan, I knew you were coming in here. I knew that I would see you tonight. But Ethan, like, I cannot believe that.
Yeah. So before the night started, this was all about Grunge Bible 200 episode, yada yada. But now he stole our thunder. Like he just yeah, dude. This is like,
dude. He went 5 for 5 with 5 homers.
Yeah, and he pitched.
Dude, it's crazy. I don't know how he did that.
And he pitched a one hitter, like no bullpen. I mean, absolute legend. I don't know. I didn't have to talk. I mean, we didn't have to talk at all.
No, we didn't have to say anything. The crazy thing too is like
we didn't even get to this is the Grunge Bible like banter. Like we just love it.
So he was. We didn't do this day in music. We didn't thank the patrons. And guys, we probably had like 2 hours worth of notes materials to use. And we didn't use any. We didn't use any of it. And it's funny too because we were supposed to start at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. The stream didn't go live until about 11:30 p.m. Eastern because I was out at a restaurant and I was eating dinner. And so Eric was supposed to come in at 11. Eric comes in at like 11:35, and he was going to stay for 15 to 20 minutes. That's what you discussed with him, right?
Yeah, well,
he stayed for 3 hours.
So when Chris said when it was very apparent that Chris was going to be late, I was like, fuck. I was like, I need to text Eric. And I was like, hey, Chris is a little late for dinner. And he's like, when did you tell everybody you were starting? And I was like, oh my gosh, like he's not going to show. He's not going to come on. But little did I know that he was ready for the long haul. Like
I can't believe that.
I didn't know that he was down for the whole thing. And yeah, it worked out. I mean, it worked out. Absolute legend. Like you said, yeah, we didn't use any of our notes. I mean, and Drew was like, "Do you have anything planned for Eric?" And I was like, kind of like we were talking about 80s rock, and I had looked up some stuff to like bring up, and we didn't need him at all, obviously, because he just and but it was all good stuff. Like, I mean, that was excellent.
That's exactly what a 3-hour live stream should be, in my humble opinion.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take it back, man. We did it. We played some videos. We got copyrighted a few times. We came back, like we fought against it, and that's like perfect. Finished a couple beers. Oh man, that's something else. Chris, can you believe it? Like, did that go fast for you?
Yeah, dude, we've done hour podcasts that felt like they were shorter, or that felt like they were longer.
I mean, the one that we had him on, it was like 2 hours long, right?
Well, the issue now that we're going to run into, Ethan, is
People
everybody.
expect this.
No, everybody in Europe is waking up now.
People are going to pop it on.
Yeah, we just got greetings and good morning from Germany. And the funny thing about this too is I have positively no idea about how this is going to play on like the uploaded Spotify and Apple Music versions of this. Like, this is just kind of one of those things that I think you kind of have to have
testing it
there.
out. No, I think the way that it played out actually is pretty. I think it'll be pretty solid. But who knows? Who knows? You had to be here, that's for sure. So Mudhoney, am I right? That's right. That's right, Brant.
I can't.
Mudhoney is their only real grunge band.
Also, an interesting caveat to this. So the Instagram live stream was supposed to conk out after an hour. I haven't had to touch it.
I know. I saw that. That's crazy.
They lied to us, man.
They changed the rules once we learned all the ropes.
You know the problem. So you've got the 1 hour plus, so it's only 1:30 there. Like this gets into silly hours pretty quickly.
Oh my gosh, I'm silly. I can definitely feel it,
dude. Brand Hackman, peacing out from Illinois. What a fucking legend.
We got to get one more. We got to get one video that hopefully is not copyrighted.
Well, here I can guide you. What are you looking for? Because I know the ropes.
How about Schwarber sends one out of
No, dude. Any of those are gonna get blocked.
What? All the M? Oh, this is by the MLB.
Oh no, it doesn't matter to the channel uploader. It's any Major League Baseball content is gonna get blocked.
Damn.
Yeah. Doug Endy is tapping out. Doug, you are an absolute legend. I'm so grateful for you and for your presence here tonight. Here we are, 3 hours, 26 minutes, and 47 seconds in, and we just got our first Primus reference of the day. My name is Mutt.
Let's see if that works.
You're going to have to find the right performance for it.
Okay. How about Primus? My name is Mud at Rockfest 97. 2.5 million views.
Yeah, I think that could work.
Uploaded by Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde. By Les Claypool.
There is an incredible performance of John the Fisherman from this show.
Absolutely. Dude, Primus live videos. This is the great way to end the pod.
Oh yeah.
There's the walk right there.
Mm-hmm.
It should be studied. Hold on. There was a time where this right here.
That was all you needed.
Holy crap. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that. I mean, it's 2:30 your time. It feels like 2:30 my time. My eyes are
Dude, this day.
I got Migo. My eyes are glazing over.
This day's been an absolute fever dream. Debo, I'm not fucking leaving, he says. This is tough.
Now
Well,
the
this was
people, the
certainly-
people are active all of a sudden.
Yeah. Everybody's
Oh,
starting
now
to
all the
flock.
comments are coming in. What the hell? We're back up to 13. And all 13 are commenting.
If we can get the stream up to 30 people, we'll go another hour.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is certainly the most unique iteration of the Grunge Bible podcast that we've done.
I am excited to see how it turns out for
I'm not. It's going to be a disaster.
it's gonna be blocked on all platforms.
You better believe it.
Well, Chris, I'm good if you're good.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm gonna need to. It's gonna be. I gotta go to bed, man. It's almost 3. By the time I'm in bed, it'll be 3.
Thank you, everybody that is here, everybody that watched and listened. You guys are MVPs, so thank you very much. G, hey, back.
Eric
Cheers.
Richard.
Cheers to everybody. Grunge Bible signing out for the 200th episode of the Grunge Bible Podcast.
That's it, man.
Rock and roll, stay heavy. End
Stay
this
heavy,
live
everybody.
stream, Chris.
Yeah, we're getting out of here, everybody. Same time next week, knuckleheads.